guys, hello and welcome back to Spurs Related. I hope you're doing well and we're back again. Of course, I did say the content would come flowing and it has. I'm on my own today, but we do have a special guest or two joining us in around 10 or 15 minutes. So any prizes on offer for guessing who that is, but hope you guys are doing well. Not loads and loads of transfer news to bring you today, but we want to talk, obviously, as you've seen about the title of the video. Will Jed Spence and Ryan Sessegnon step it up, and will they be on track to be the next Danny Rose and Kyle Walker? Let's see. But certainly kicking things off, I certainly think they potentially could be. But let's see what you guys think. Do you think Ryan Sessegnon, who's had quite a slow start to his Spurs career, it's been kind of full of maybe injuries, but also not many ups compared to downs. Jed Spence, a promising young player coming in, Nottingham Forest, absolutely smashed it last season. He was part of their success. I mean, honestly, this guy, championship team of the season, he is a promising player. And he's almost taken a similar route to Ryan Sessegnon in terms of coming through the championship, scoring, well, Ryan Sessegnon scored a lot more goals than Jed Spence, but the fact that he had such an impact down that wing, who knows? He really could be a top player for Tottenham in years to come. Let's see who's in the chat. There is plenty of you guys already in here. And like I said, I've got other people joining me throughout the stream. One man is from the other side of the pond to me in the UK, so I'll let you guess who that is. But let's see who's in the chat. Ellie's in here first. Look at that. Yeah, she's saying, hey, lads, big up James, Jack and Andre. I'll send my best to Jack and Andre. They're not here today, Ellie, but really appreciate you joining. Mick's in here saying, big up, lads. Big up Bobby K. Brian Daigle, big up, Brian. We'll get that quiz sorted for you and the Tottenham on Tour boys very soon. Cheers, Mick, for joining. Ricky, really appreciate it. And there's a few others. But, guys, if you do want more content, smash the thumbs up. Like I said, on Saturday, we are going to be doing a little watch-along for that Tottenham Rangers game. It'd be interesting to see who exactly starts for Tottenham. There's been a little bit of news which I can update you on today with regards to injury news. So, actually, I got a little bit of news from Fabrizio Romano that broke 8 minutes ago. So here we go. This is actually on Japhet Tanganga. And it says, negotiations are ongoing for Japhet Tanganga. Paratici met with AC Milan board today in Milan. Tanganga is now one of the names now discussed between the two clubs in touch for potential opportunities in the next weeks. Not only is Tanganga discussed among topics of the meeting, but also the redundancies such as Ndombele and Reguilon, who are now not part of Conte's project. So potentially, Tanganga goes to AC Milan, Reguilon or Ndombele goes to AC Milan. Let me know, guys, if you think that's a good move in terms of, obviously, offloads. But it'd be interesting to see, starting off with the talking point, obviously, Spence and Sessegnon. Do you guys think they're going to be Tottenham starting fullbacks? Do you think Perisic and maybe Doherty start over them? Or do you think these guys are going to maybe overtake how good Doherty is? I mean, at the end of the day, Matt Doherty had 5 or 6 unbelievable games, got injured. Will he come back to that form he had before? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Let's get a talking point going, starting things off. So the first question I have, and I'll put it in the banner at the bottom, is how good out of 10 do you think Jed Spence will perform in his first season? So out of 10, 10 being the best, how good will Jed Spence be this season to come? I think it's so hard to judge. I mean, it could go one of two ways, right? He could either absolutely smash it like he did at Forest and bed straight in, or maybe this is too high of a step up, a bit like Sessegnon when he came in. But it'd be interesting to see what you guys think. So out of 10, how good of a season will Jed Spence have? Let me know. But there is 20 of you already. Let's get the lights going. Let's get the numbers going. as I said, I've got a couple of people joining me in the next 5 to 10 minutes. So we'll see what these guys think as well. I mean, for me, I think Sessegnon is going to be a very good player. He started to show it at the end of last season. I think he's at a stage now where he's really developing in his career and he's going to really push on this season. But then again, Perisic is going to teach him a lot as well. Perisic has been, it's just going to be an unbelievable signing. Not just the fact that he's still a world-class player, but the fact that he's going to be a mentor to Ryan Sessegnon. That's going to be invaluable for him. I mean, Ryan Sessegnon at the moment has been learning from Sergio Reguilon, and Sergio Reguilon hasn't really performed at the heights we were hoping he did. And now he's got Perisic, 34 years old, 33 years old, bags of experience at international and club level. I really, really, really am very positive for Sessegnon's season this season, and of course Perisic. But I mean, let's see what you guys in the chat are saying. Mick is saying he reckons an 8. Fair enough. I think that would be an incredible first season, to be honest with you. Brian, I've just seen you've WhatsApped me. Come on the show. We'll get you on. Let me quickly send it to him. 1 second, guys. But also Bobby K saying 8 as well. He will only get better and stronger under Conte. Yeah, to be fair, I do agree with that. I mean, at the end of the day, he was working under Steve Cooper at Nottingham Forest, who had an unbelievable comeback for Forest this season. Chris Hughton was in charge of Forest. They were rock bottom after, I think it was September, October. Steve Cooper took over, got them all the way to 3rd, nearly automatic promotion, and sent them through the playoffs. What management that is. But you're right, Conte is only going to make him an even better player. So let's see on that front. Big up James says, Mark. Big up yourself, Mark. Thanks for joining as always, mate. He's saying Spence will be 11. He's gone one higher than the 10. I absolutely love that. Michael, thanks for joining as well, mate. He's saying it depends how he took that comment from Conte. I'm thinking he might suffer from pressure because of it. If he can use it to spur him on, we'll have a player on our hands. So 4 or 8, depending on that. I like that. Yeah. I hope he doesn't read into too much about the fact that Conte did come out and say he's not a Conte player. But at the end of the day, if it's a Tottenham signing as well, surely, we don't normally do 2 bag with wing backs. That's all I'm going to say. But Daniel Levy took a while to get on over the line for sure. But I think you're right, Michael. It depends how he takes that comment. I don't think it's going to affect him too much. I think he's just going to be absolutely buzzing to play in the Premier League, to be honest with you. So Ellie's saying Reguilon's stats are better than Sess. Do you think that Sessegnon will progress this season? I mean, we've just talked about, obviously, Jed Spence. Do you guys think that Sessegnon will improve this season? I think we saw at the end of last season, he started playing really promising performances, almost the opposite side to Doherty when he played. I would honestly not be surprised if Sessegnon steps it up as well. And he's a top player. I mean, he's just got a bit unlucky with injuries, Ryan Sessegnon. That's what I would say. I think it's going to be interesting, the amount of options we really do have now at wing back. I mean, we have 3 left wing backs. Potentially Reguilon's going to leave. 2 right wing backs. I think we're almost, 3 right wing backs in a way, depending on how you look at it. But I think Emerson's going to stay now, and let's see what happens. We got some of the guests coming in. They both come in at once. They've obviously got stuck in one of the tunnels nearby or something, but they're all here now. It's good to see them both, and it's been a while since I've seen both of them on the stream. So let's get a little introduction for them both. Welcome them in the chat, guys. Let's start with the man himself from Ireland. I always butcher his motto, so I'm not even going to bother. It is the man from Ireland. It is, of course, Dave Harris. Dave, how you doing, mate?
Oh, absolutely good, my man. Feel good. Got a haircut, beard trim. I got the dogs. I got all the work done, man. I feel like the dog's bollocks.
Love it. Is that a #Manscaped job?
No, Manscaped is for down below, James. Let's not confuse the two. It'd be a bit wrong if I used it up here.
I thought there was a beard trimmer as well. I thought there was 2.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, they're separate ones, yeah.
Oh, we'll definitely don't use the one you used for down below, mate. That would have been a bit sketchy. But anyway, how quick? Just very quickly, how buzzing are you with the finally getting Jed Spence over the line?
Yeah, look, I'm happy about it. For me, I think he's supremely talented. He's got a lot of raw talent that, look, Conte can definitely work with. If you look what he done with the likes of Candreva, Victor Moses, people like that. I mean, there's no reason why Jed Spence can't work. He's got everything. He just needs a world-class manager to hone in his ability.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get into more of that in just a bit. Mick's saying big up and a couple of the other guys in the chat, but let's get the other man in. Oh, there's 2 guys actually now waiting. It's crazy. They all come in pairs. They come in triples. Look at this. We get one of the 2 from Canada over, and we're going to get the man that is in the 3 Spurs boys, Bobby K. Bobby, mate, how you doing? Thanks for joining, mate.
Fantastic. Sorry for being late, my man. Sorry for being late. I know I made a commitment
worries.
to you, and here I am showing up late. My apologies.
No
Mr.
worries.
David Harris, what's up, brother?
How you going, my man? Well?
Fantastic. It's good to see you, boys. James, it's been a while, man. How you keeping, my man?
It's been a while. Yeah, busy, just busy. Been away. I'm back now and back to back. Talking all things Spurs as always, of course.
Yeah, baby.
Not long to go now. 10, 15 days till the start of the season? Not long at all, but yeah.
David, David's got a clock up in his room, a digital clock with the hour countdown and everything, like NASA has. Right to the friggin' second there, man. David will know. But I know you said you wanted to pop this up a little bit, so I invited somebody as well, if that's okay.
Oh, of course. Who is it?
Oh, well, surprise, James. Good things come to those who wait. Hopefully he'll join us shortly. But
okay.
you have another person you want to jump in already as well, right?
Absolutely.
So you know what it was? Petrol is so expensive. We didn't want to come separately, so we all hired one van and showed up together. I dropped David off quickly. He jumped in the studio, and then I came in.
Sounds about right. But listen, let's get the other guy over that's in the waiting room as well, from Canada, originally from England, but here he is in Canada, Toronto. It is the man, Brian Daigle. Brian,
That's
it's
the
been a
guy
while,
I
mate.
just sent the link to. That's the guy. That guy.
I got it before you.
How are we doing, everyone? How are we doing? You good, James? You good, David? What's up, brother?
What's up, brother?
And everyone in the chat, obviously. Been a very long while.
Good to see you, mate. Thanks for offering to come on. Yeah, we have to get that quiz sorted for sure. We'll get that quiz sorted.
Oh, you don't
I'm
be starting
retired.
no quizzes now.
Not now.
Unless they're regarding DC or Marvel. I don't do quizzes.
I need to take that L that I got off David. I need to get that off my resume because I don't lose quizzes on Tottenham, and I did that one.
And it was on your favourite player as well, Gascoigne.
Shush.
Whoa! Why you gotta go there?
I'm retired anyway. There's nobody I look out there and see as a threat. Somebody has to come along and wake me up to get me out of bed.
Well, when I win the next quiz that I'm on, it will wake you up by the manner that I beat the person by, and then we'll bring you out of retirement.
I heard it all before on the last one, Dig, and I still reign victorious, man.
We shall see, brother. We shall see.
Day calls himself the champ now, so yeah.
Double champ.
The people's champion.
That's next. When I win the triple, Bobby, that's next. Then I'll be the people's champ.
Well, speaking of triple, you've got a third round coming up between Wearetottenhamtv and Spurs Talk Show, don't you? They're at a 1-1 draw, aren't they?
Yeah, Dave potentially is going to play the winner or Tottenham on tour, but no, Dave's not interested. See,
I'm retired.
No, but I'm saying you had Sean and
there'll be a third match.
Ben and Daniel, so they're tied right now.
Yeah,
Brian, you got Brian. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, sorry, and I'm not just saying this because I absolutely adore the guy, but I don't think it's fair that he doesn't get a crack to redeem himself. Just saying.
Listen, no, all I will say to David is David has done what many professional footballers and people should do. He's retired at the top.
On a high.
He's like, that's it. I've done it. He's not waiting till he's on the down or whatever. He's been like, right, I'm at the top of the mountain. This is where I belong. This is where I stay, rather than going downhill. So David's made a smart move.
Yeah,
smart move.
Very smart.
It's like
I retired before the Alzheimer's kick in.
He's done. I tell you what he's done, Brian. I'm going to go off your comment. He's done what Dele Alli should have done in 2018 and left while he was while he was on the decline.
Did you guys see that miss yesterday?
Wow, that's unbelievable.
I'll tell you right now, if one of the kids on my team did that, they'd be benched for the rest of the season.
I do have a bit of gripe with Dele Alli today, actually, to be honest with you.
Really, Ellie? Thanks, Ellie.
No, I have a bit of a gripe with him and the media today because, you know, a couple of Spurs fans clapped him at the preseason game against Everton, for Everton, you know, and all of a sudden it makes Tottenham headlines. I mean, Jesus Christ, like, how is he still making Tottenham headlines because a few fans clapped him? It's absolutely ridiculous. Like,
I saw your post on it.
We're so sentimental. I'm sorry, James, but I have to sound off here because we're so sentimental about these players. Like, the guy didn't perform for 2+ years. I couldn't give a shit what he's doing. In fact, I know what he's doing. All I have to do is check his TikTok. Couldn't care less about it. I'm fed up. Like, you know, if it's a slow news day, just don't report anything. Don't report anything. You know, don't come out with this crap about Bergwijn and Dele Alli. They're gone and gone for good reason. Good riddance.
But to be fair, David, we as fans only got sentimental because this fucking board for 20 years didn't buy people. So we got attached to people because we didn't have new faces to attach ourselves to.
Nah,
we didn't have new players.
Ellie,
you know,
can't blame the board for being.
Oh wow, Ellie's just whoa.
So she's just left me and James to stew
no, but
here.
she's gonna say if she's smart, Ellie, you'll say and your favorite Englishman.
Yeah,
technically he's an import.
No, let him have it. AC Milan to discuss the conditions of a deal for Japhet Tanganga. Milan will sign him on loan and an option to purchase. That's from Damasio, hence I'm reading it out because it is a tier 1 source. And Fabrizio Romano says that Paratici met with the AC Milan board today to not only discuss about Tanganga going on loan, but also potentially Ndombele as well, which is very interesting. Will we offload both of them, do you guys think?
God willing.
Should.
Even Brian's praying.
I'm doing this for Ndombele and Ndombele only.
Yeah, agreed. Also, Reguilon apparently is not in part of Conte's project, and Ndombele isn't either, according to Damasio.
So basically, they're just repeating what we already know. Like David said for Newsday. Newsflash, Conte doesn't like Dembele. Well, thank you. I hadn't picked up on those signals over the last few months.
Nice one, Louis. Yeah, exactly. It is a slow news day. Absolutely. Go on.
I just want to be clear. Sorry. I actually don't mind these ITKs and all the news. Let me make that clear. Do not mind it. I'm very grateful for a lot of the stuff they do put out there for us. But it's on days like this where it's just like, look, if there's nothing to report on, just stop reporting. I don't want to hear about 2 Spurs fans clapping Dele Alli because they still love him. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear about Bergwijn on his struggles at Tottenham. That's tough hits. You know,
and it's history as well. It's done.
Yeah, it's so annoying. Just don't report.
Listen, guys, I'm going to move on the talking point now. I'm sure it will cause a big talking point, but I don't know if you guys saw before you guys joined. I was talking about how you guys think, or how everyone thinks Sessegnon or Spence will do this season. Obviously, the comparisons with them both being English and wing backs has been Walker and Rose. A lot of talk about that. How good do you think they can be? I'll start with Brian because he's so eager to say something.
Yeah.
Let him get it out.
David knows exactly what I'm about to say because I said it on his show. I hate, and I mean I hate, when we go, we've got 2 new wing backs. They're fast. They're English. They can do this. It's the next Rose and Walker. When we get someone when we signed Kulusevski. I wonder if he can be like Gareth Bale. No, there's no. Don't heap pressure on these guys. They are their own individual guys. Hopefully they'll be incredible, but they won't be the Walker and Rose because they're not Walker and Rose. What huge pressure to whack on a guy that's been injured for most of his Spurs career and a guy that's just come from the Championship. It's don't get me wrong. Once they've done it for 3, 4, 5 years, then you can say, do you know what? I can see the comparison between them. Okay. It's back. It's not you that's saying it, James. It's when people globally start putting this kind of goddamn comparison in. It's like we signed a midfielder in Bissouma who's going to be brilliant. Thank God, he's going to be the next Dembele. No, he's not. No,
he might be, but certainly not straight away. Let me reframe the question then, Brian. Let me say, do you think in 3 to 4, maybe even 5 years, they could reach the heights of Danny Rose and Kyle Walker? How about I reframe it like that?
See, now when you say that, that makes more sense. Because then you're talking about the class of them. Listen, we've got to remember, Danny Rose was a left midfielder that went back to left back. Kyle Walker only did well after he went on loan to Villa and did everything. They've got the manager to do it. They've got the manager. There's no doubt they've got the manager, and we know. Good save, Eddie. Good save.
Good one. Well done.
But yeah, they've got the potential to set very high standards, and they've got the manager to do it. They really do. I hope they can do it. I really, really do. Put it this way: I think what we're getting in Jed Spence immediately is better than what we had with Kyle Walker when he started. So I think Jed Spence right now, we've signed a 21-year-old better player than I think it was 19 when we signed Kyle Walker from Sheffield United.
Yep.
Spence is further ahead in his progression, in my opinion, and what he did with Forest, and you don't get into the team of the year and play well. He's shown it, so the potential is there. When you were saying marks out of 10 for this season, if you're doing it as a collective, it's very, very hard because you don't know what his injury record with Sessegnon's going to be. Yeah. I would personally say for me, Spence, I'm giving him a 7.
Okay.
But do you know what it is? It's because the only reason I'm going above half is because obviously he's coming from the Championship and we saw Dele Alli take it by storm in his first year. That don't happen with every player. It's very, very few and far between. So I'm setting it at 7, but does he have the potential to get an 8 or a 9? Of course he does. Sessegnon, for me, if he can stay fit, he's gonna change a lot of people's heads. A lot of people's thoughts on him. I've stuck by him, but for this big up top, this is a big season for me. For him, I'm kind of in the make or break for him. If he has another injury season where he's out with injuries niggling in the whole season, it's time to cut the cloth, off you go. It's not working. Okay. But if Sessegnon can stay fit and gets a good amount of games under him, I'd give him an 8.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. I mean, especially at the end of last season, we saw how good he was performing. Sort of when he was playing on the other flank to Doherty, they were both playing very, very solid. And even at the end of the season, Sessegnon was one of the better players in their team, wasn't he? He was really, really good, stepped it up. Dave, Bobby K, I'll go with Dave first. Dave, what do you think on this this one? I know you had a show similar to do with Sessegnon and Spence yesterday. What is your overall thoughts, and how do you think they'll improve in the how do you think they'll get on next season, but also further down the line, how high can they go?
Look, I think they definitely have the potential to reach the heights of Walker and Rose. Look, I'll be honest. For me, this is make or break season for Sessegnon. I wrote him off like a week ago, but then since then I've listened to the interview he's done, and I really do like the words that he's come out with, even down to the minute details where he's talking about, strengthening up the muscles around his hamstring so that it doesn't break down as much and all that sort of stuff. So I'm glad that it seems like he has finally he's not waiting around for someone to tell him what to do. He wants to be a bit proactive about it. So I really like that about Sessegnon. But look, I have my doubts with Sessegnon still because it's his forward ability. Look, defensively he's good, and that's why he's been kept over Sergio Reguilon, because defensively he's more dependable. And ideally you want one defensive and one attacking in that position, depending on the game and the team you're playing against. But with Sessegnon going forward, I don't get why people are saying, he was one of the best come towards the end of last season. He wasn't. Look, the guy is so bang average at the minute. I think he's actually regressed from where he was at 17 to where he actually is now at 22. He had more of an impact at Fulham over the 2 seasons than what he has had at Tottenham. And I get it's because of injuries and stuff like that. But with Sessegnon, you look at Perisic, what ideally Conte wants is Perisic finished last season, I think, was with, 10 goals and 9 assists or something like that?
I know that.
And that's the level that Sessegnon has to get to. Sessegnon got 2 assists last season. He's going to have to up his end product big time. He's going to have to learn to make them runs that Reguilon used to make into the edge of the box and take them chances. He's going to have to learn to use his right foot because everyone shows him onto his right foot. They've done that towards the end of last season, and he can't beat the first man or else he overhits it. He can't use his right foot. So there's a lot of improvements that Sessegnon actually has to make to
David,
make
can
it.
I ask you a question about Sessegnon? Forget we were talking about the assist, but what did you think of him defensively? Because if you look at it with the 2 games against Salah, he was a lot better defensively than I think he was offensively last season. And I think
I've no problems with the guy defensively. I think I said it already. I think defensively he's sound, but people don't like Emerson, even though he's defensively good. Because,
you're right.
They criticize him saying going forward he's crap. Well, then put the same on Sessegnon. You have to ask the same as Sessegnon because. So look, for me, I think Sessegnon, this is make or break this campaign for him because once you reach 23, going into 24. You're kind of starting to settle out at what player you're going to be. Potential stops becoming potential, and you're just kind of leveling out to what you're going to be. So for me, I think it's a massive season for Sessegnon. But in terms of Spence, it's a gamble by the club, but I would like to think it's a calculated gamble, one that they think will pay off. Look, I've done a bit of research on this guy, and he actually played in the 2 games that we played Middlesbrough against Jose Mourinho. I put up a video up on my channel about it in the community section. He had the better Sessegnon in both games. Both games he had the better Sessegnon. So he's proven already he's well able to do it. Look at the performances against Arsenal, Leicester last season. Proved he's well able to do it. Now, everyone is basing their opinion off Jed Spence, just off the promotion playoff game alone. But what people won't tell you is that in that game, because it's taken Nottingham Forest nearly 20 years to try and get back to the Premier League, once they went 1 up, Jed Spence's game was changed. Do not go forward. Don't give them space to play in behind. He was up against that guy O'Brien that has been good, unbelievable for Huddersfield all season long. He's after getting his move to Leeds United. So why would they tell him to go forward? And that's what everyone was criticising him on. The game changes in a big final like that. He was never going to be asked to keep going forward. But if people that have watched this guy or maybe kept an eye on him throughout the season, you can see what he's got defensively. He's solid. He's sound. Going forward, okay, yeah, he needs a bit of work on his end product. But so does Sessegnon. Sessegnon has been here 2-3 years. And Sessegnon has 5 years worth of first-team football underneath his belt. And also with Spence, look, he's had it tough his whole career. He played in a team in Croydon with the likes of Emil Smith-Rowe, Wan-Bissaka and stuff like that. He was the last one drafted out of that team into a football academy. Every single season, he's been the last one to get his contract renewed throughout the academy. And he's always had to go and work on things. And his mother's always pushed him to do it. So he's got good family behind him that will keep this guy grounded. Granted, there was a bit of clash with, what's
Neil
that?
Warnock.
Yeah, Warnock. Well, he's not an idiot. I actually think he's funny.
I think he's brilliant,
Yeah, Neil Warnock. And look, but since then, he went out on loan to Nottingham Forest. And he had a very good campaign. A breakout campaign. He got into the England under-21 team. He got into the championship team of the year. And I get it's not the signing everybody likes, but you can still look at it and find a lot of the positives. I dare people, try and knock this boy off the ball when he's at full sprint. You won't do it. He's an absolute unit. If Conte can work on his end product, and Lucas needs his end product, and he's been worked on. He's been playing right wing for the last fucking 15 years of his career. You know what I mean? So hopefully we can work on that with Spence. And I would say I think we have a bit of a bargain in Spence. You know.
Yeah, I mean, you said about it being a gamble, but 20 million with add-ons, I don't think it's a gamble in this day and age. Even if it goes very, very badly, we'd still surely get 10, 15 million. So for me, it's not even a gamble, to be honest with you. One question I had, Dave, before I asked Bobby K on his opinion on this, is you said about Ryan Sessegnon, he only got 2 assists last season, no goals. But 15 games, if he suddenly got 25, 30 games under his belt, do you see that stat improving, or are you concerned about Ryan Sessegnon's end product? And also, are you surprised about his end product, considering he scored 16 goals and 8 assists in one season at Fulham about 3 years ago?
He put in 1 assist against Liverpool. He had acres of space to do it. 1 assist against Leeds, acres of space to do it. What did he do in the rest of the games when they were closer, when there wasn't that space? He doesn't have the end product. He's not good enough on his left, and he's very, very weak on his right. If he wants to make a club like Tottenham in the direction we're going, he has to improve that. It's up to him to be out on the training pitch, extra hours putting in, crossing the ball on his left, on his right, hitting targets, shooting. He has to now go and do that. How bad? Show me how bad you want it. Look, he had 15 games, but a club like Tottenham, that's what you're going to get. And it'd probably be the same this season because we've got Perisic. Last season was the time for him to get more games. And at the end of the day, whether you get 15 games or 15 minutes, it's up to you to lay down that marker and make that mark. Can't use that as an excuse. You only get so many games in the Premier League. You only get so many games at the top level. And it's up to you to produce. You can't sit there and go, well, I needed 30 games and you would have seen the best of me. Look, Premier League and football right now in this current day and age, it's absolutely ruthless with the money in it. You don't do it, you're gone. We'll get the next guy in that will. So it's up to you to grasp your opportunity.
Yeah, very true, very true. At the end of the day, you can't just expect more games. You gotta take it by the horns, haven't you? And listen, I think Doherty was in a situation like that where he knew that if he got into the first team, he had to take it. And listen, I'm not a massive Doherty fan. I certainly wasn't before he started in form, but he did take the opportunity and put in 5 or 6 amazing performances before he obviously got injured. So similar situation with him, I guess. Bobby K, what's your... Oh, he's talking. Is he ready? What are your thoughts on the whole situation with maybe Ryan Sessegnon, Jed Spence? How good can they be to start with?
Well, you know what? To be honest with you, James, you're having me go up after Brian and after David. There's not really much left to say, is it? They've covered they've covered all the talking points, really. But I did see something in the chat that just come up. If you could bring up Holly's first comment there. Nope, one above that. And just for Holly. No, it's our talking. It's our kids.
Oh my goodness, you're gonna get me demonetized.
Oh no, it's the kids singing. It's the kids singing.
Well, it's not. Anyway,
but I honestly, the way I look at it, I think the reason we're so hyped up and the comparisons are being made with Walker and Rose is because of what Brian said, that that Walker came in and Spence is already rated higher than what Walker was when he came in. So that's why is there more pressure being put on him, because the expectations are a little bit higher. Because when we got Walker, we expected this. Now we expect this out of Spence because he's got a higher, rating already a higher level kind of thing, and he's achieved in the championship. At the end of the day, the way I look at it is he's got the Spurs kid on. He's got to come in and play for us. And the biggest asset he's got coming in is Conte. And then on top of that, you add a handholder, shall we say, a guardian in Perisic. If anybody can improve these guys in terms of fitness, strength, show them what it means to be a real footballer and stay injury-free, it's going to be an older guy like Perisic that's been doing it successfully for so many years. And I think that he's going to be able to make big differences, right?
Definitely. Guys, who would you start? Very quickly, another question. Who would you start at wing-back first game? Would it be Perisic and Doherty, maybe? No?
Look, we got to stop this with Matt Doherty. I mean, look, I'm Irish, and even I don't rate him. He's played 6 good games over 2 years. Let's be honest about this with Matt Doherty. Yes, it could have been more if he didn't get his injury, but I also shouldn't have to wait 1.5 years for the guy to turn up at Tottenham either. People could talk about systems and different positions, right back, right wing back. Doesn't matter. If you're a quality player, you can play both equally. Look, for me, I would start Perisic on the left-hand side, 100%. And being honest, I would start Lucas on the right wing back, and then I would bring in Spence maybe second half to see what he can do. Because, look, for me, we've spent so much money on that right wing back or that right wing back position since fucking Kyle Walker left. You've had Aurier, you've had Emerson, Doherty, the list goes on of just players that we've brought in that hasn't filled it. So I don't blame Tottenham going back down the route they done with Kyle Walker because they haven't been able to get it right. But for me, I would go with Lucas and Perisic. Maybe, potentially, I would probably actually start Spence. But I don't think Conte will.
Lucas can't defend for shit, though. But he can't cross the ball.
In that position, look, when people criticize Emerson, we can't have our cake and eat it. When people criticize Emerson, they say we don't need him to be good defensively because there's a lot of cover there. We need him to be good going forward. So if that's the standard of people wanting right wing back, let's not start criticizing them defensively.
Yeah.
Look,
I just have high hope. I only have high hope because of the fact that the mold that he's coming into is he's got such a strong support network now that he's coming into. And the fact that we're getting him in before the season starting, so giving Conte the time to work with him and stuff like that to get him almost game ready, and we'll be able to see. Now, this whole thing that came out about that he's not really, Conte didn't want him, he's not a Conte signing, blah, 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 blah. We all knew that from the beginning. As soon as we were linked to this guy, we all said, this is the only one out of the package of players that we've got in that doesn't look like he is a Paratici or a Conte signing. He's a Levy signing. But that being said, again, what other options really are out there unless we start going for a really, really premier player at right wing back that aren't available? There's nobody available.
That was my next question to Dave. Like, Dave, I know you're not a fan of Doherty. You think Spence could be potentially great, but you're not too sure straight away. Who would you have gone for if we had more? I guess we do have the budget, but who would you have gone for that was potentially going to be realistically available?
No, look, I'll be honest, I don't mind the Jed Spence one. Look, for me, another player I probably would have looked at is Livramento from Southampton. I really like the guy. I think, look, I think he's really good, but he has his injury problems. Look, for me, at the end of the day, look, there was always going to be one or two signings that were going to be a bit underwhelming in a certain position because we had so much to fill. And at the end of the day, we've got a massive squad now, and we do have to start offloading before we can bring in. But the club have got in the majority of the 80% of their targets, the majority of the business done already. So now we're in a position where we can't wait. Look, next season, what I will say is the season where you can go and spend 80, 90 million on a Hakimi because you don't have as many positions that are of an emergency to fill. So this season, I don't mind the business we've done whatsoever. But next season, I reckon then you can start asking the club to go for the likes of Hakimi and that because you're only talking about 1-2 positions with a big budget. So,
is that the same situation do you see as the left centre-back situation where we've almost filled it temporarily with Lenglet?
No. I believe we only filled that with Lenglet purely because Bastoni and Gavardiol have not been available to us. And I believe that we're kicking that one further down the can rather than waste money on a guy that you don't know whether he's going to, you don't 100% know whether he's going to hit the ground and running. You can get a feeling, but you don't 100% know. And for me, I think what we've done there is rather than go and spend 40 million on another Sanchez to come in and sit here for another 4 or 5 years and do absolutely tiddlywink. You know what I mean? I'm happy that we got in this guy on loan. He's international experience, got experience in the Champions League and everything else. And we could just save our money and use it further down the line rather than spend another 42 million on another Davinson Sanchez.
But we're saying there's still...
What I want to say is when it comes to who starts the season, I think, not what I want, I think it will be Sessegnon and Emerson. And the only reason I say that is because we don't know how fit Perisic is going to be. And I think if you're looking at it, he might want Perisic for Chelsea, more importantly than Southampton. And I just think he's going to start Emerson. I think Lucas Moura is an idea. I don't think it's one he really thinks that's a winner. And I think Spence may come on after. I've just got a feeling. I mean, if Perisic starts Rangers and Roma, Perisic starts against Southampton.
Yeah, because he returned to full fitness training, right?
Yeah, but now he's got to get up to the fitness. He's got to get some minutes into his belt. So if it was players 70% or whatever percent fit, Perisic against Southampton, but or have 100% ready and raring to go against Chelsea, I'm choosing him to start at Chelsea without a shadow of a doubt. So I think Sessegnon may start Southampton depending on Perisic's fitness. And I just think, you know what, this Lucas Moura idea, it's all well and good, but I like the idea of it. I really do. And the most idea I like out of it is when he gets into space, his pace is obviously the best out of all of them on the right-hand side. Yeah. But I don't see him being a start. I think I see more and more as if, right, we need to change the game. Yes. How can I do it when legs are tiring? Yes. Okay, let's bring on some pace and stretch it that way. So I'd like to see Perisic and Emerson, in all honesty, and then Spence, because this is a big, bold move for Spence, and he's just joined now. He hasn't had the couple of weeks pre-season that the other lads have had. And no matter what with Southampton, you always want to start, whoever it is first day, you always want to start that game with a win. And I think he's going to want everyone that's all on the same level. That's all been. So I think it will be Sessegnon and Emerson that will start.
Yeah. Okay. Sessegnon, interesting. Sessegnon, Emerson. Where do you guys think Reguilon's actually going to go and out? Because he's surely going to move on, right?
Okay. So they're left, as Beyonce once said.
Barcelona. Because
you think Barcelona?
Oh yeah, because they're absolutely debt ridden. They have absolutely no money, but yet they can sign anybody they want.
Yeah, what is going on there? That is weird.
That's insane.
They've sold off their future TV revenue. They're gambling on future revenue. That's basically in a nutshell what they're doing. Yeah.
See, I just want to add to Brian's point.
They've given up. I think it's 10% of their future revenue. That's why they can. That's why they can do what they're doing. Barcelona.
So they've got money in the bank now from other people already. Yeah, pre-investment. Yeah. No, just to add to Brian's point with the Moura thing, that's honestly what I thought. It was an experiment just to see what options it kind of gives Conte if he needs to change, if he doesn't want to necessarily change formations. But my only issue, and the biggest issue I have with that, is I think that Moura is a terrible winger. I think that when he plays on the side of the field, he's terrible. You put that guy in the middle and unleash him, and what a different player we see. So if we're going to experiment with him, let's play him. Let's start experimenting him as behind Kane in that 9 role kind of thing, or even a cam role or something in there. Because I honestly think that the guy does add flair. Like, we're all screaming for creativity, flair. I think he has it. We just need to unleash it. But if we're going to keep putting him here, and then we're playing him here, and now we're going to play him at right wing back, and we're going to play, where do we expect this guy to settle and do his best at? And we as fans have all seen what he can accomplish when he plays behind Kane. He terrorizes defenses. He runs straight at them, full speed. And like you said, it's like a little Tasmanian devil coming with a football. So it scares the crap out of them, right? So I honestly think that forget the right wing back. I think just, if anything, figure out something else that we did. For me right now, Holly made a comment earlier about the squad depth is, I think it was Holly.
You're not going to start singing again, are you?
No. One mistake is enough. One moment of stupidity. Thank you. It's very hot over here. I had an early shift. We'll blame it all on that combination of dumb events. And I'm new and stupid. And you two people, if you're watching, I don't speak English. It wasn't James. Okay. I think is like somebody made a comment about the depth is brilliant now with our squad and everything, and it's doing really good, that we've upgraded everywhere pretty much, and we've given competition in places. So the only place I'm seeing we're really lacking that we do 100% need to get somebody is a center back. Yeah. We need either an upgrade on Dyer or competition to Dyer. And I can't say upgrade on Dyer because, well, he'll never talk to me again. And
no,
I let Dave fight with him about stuff like that. I don't do it. So
I'll fight with anybody about it. No problem.
Dave does my dirty work when it comes to putting Jay in his place regarding Dyer. But I think that's the one key thing we really, really need to look at right now, because with the 4 competitions coming along and everything, and I really think that we've got to get somebody in there, either be it an upgrade or either be it cover. We need something or somebody in there, and there's still all the rumors floating around that there's still one big signing coming. I was praying to God. I've screamed this for ages. You've all heard it from me that it would be Hakimi. I absolutely think he would smash the shit out of people for us, and Perisic and him on the wings, just dynamite. We've got so much attacking power, and then they have the ability to get back as well with their pace. So, right now it's still a gamble. I think we're just, like I said, we all. The one thing I gotta say I love about this is that we want more, because Conte now has increased our greed. He wants more from the club. He wants more from the football team. So we as a fan base, after 7 signings, are still saying we want more. That's not enough.
This comment. I'm sorry, Nitin, thanks so much for joining, mate. But honestly, I don't know what these guys are feeling. I do not want a Adama Traore. That was desperate.
Not a right wing back. No.
I never want to hear this man linked with the club again. I so much as so, I don't want to even hear his name announced on the team sheets for the opposition when we play them. I am so sick to death of hearing that guy's name. It's beyond a joke. It's beyond a joke. Could he do something with us? Yes. Yes, he could. Do I think he will? Hell no. Hell no.
He's awful.
He's like Lucas Moura. He's the Brazilian Darren Huckabee, who I call the Brazilian Darren Huckabee. He just puts his head down and runs and has no end product.
Yeah.
And
he's got a lot of product in his hair, hasn't he? He's got a lot of product in his hair. You know?
I just want to add to that.
And baby oil.
I just want to add to that as well. Everyone thinks that we were bringing Traore in here for a right wing back. Look what we brought in. We brought in a right winger in Kulusevski. We were never bringing him in here to play a right wing back. We were bringing him in here to play a right winger. You've already got Lucas Moura there to run up the pitch and give you no end product. Why would you spend another 25 million on another guy to do it?
Quick chat about Adama Traore very quickly. He's also played 11 games and hasn't scored yet. So I'm really not sure what the attraction is to him at all. But maybe because he's quick on FIFA, maybe. But anyway.
I think only because, James, let's face it, when he played us, he actually did well against us. And that's where he did do, I'm not going to say, well, he didn't score or anything. I don't think I've ever seen him score against us. But I'm just saying he terrorized our defense. And he caused problems.
Bobby, what you got to remember, we all watch, and they all put together, as Danny Rose famously said, Googling or watch YouTube videos. You could watch a Wolves game, every single game Traore played, and you could put clips of times of him running past people.
Running, yeah.
But what they won't show is the pass, the lead on from that run, which will go out for a throw in, a goal kick, straight into the goalkeeper's arms. You can make a massive compilation of him taking on 4 players or bouncing people off him. But that's all well and good, but he's employed to deliver a final product for his strikers, and he can't do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. With Traore, you're essentially signing a rugby player or a sprinter. At the end of the day, if like that, that's it at the end. And look, Nitin, the reason why is we have to understand the way Paratici approaches windows. He done it with Amrabat as well. That guy Amrabat was due to come in here, and it didn't happen. Yeah. With Paratici, he lines up all these options. He'll go for multiple players in the same position and line up, and then at the end of the day, he'll sit back and he'll take his best options. And that's what happened. Look. We didn't get Traore. We didn't want Traore. We were happy to let him go to Barcelona because, in my opinion, we knew that Juventus, because of the links they had, were going to get in Vlahovic and Zakaria, which then released Bentancur and Kulusevski to be sold. And that's the way the January transfer window works. Nobody's going to let go of someone unless they have someone lined up in that position. So we had to wait for Juventus to do their business to get in ours. That's why it happened so late. But Traore was never coming in here as a right wing back. When we signed a right winger, he was always going to come in here on the hopes of playing right wing, and he's not good enough.
Absolutely. And it was desperate times, wasn't it? We didn't know that we had 150 million to spend this window. In January, it was much more tight. We didn't have the unique investment. We didn't have anything like that. And I think everyone was trying to convince themselves that Adama Traore is good because at the end of the day, if you remember in like January the 28th, 9th, we hadn't signed a player. And then suddenly we signed the 2 players at the end of the window. And we were still not convinced. I know you were, Dave. I know you came on the channel and said it was a good window, and it ended up being. But at the end of the day, I think we were linked with the likes of Adama Traore and Amrabat. But actually, were we really that linked? Oh, there's a cat on stream as well. Look at that. Unbelievable. Guys, I'm going to mix it up now. I think it's going to be something a little bit fun to do on stream, and I want you guys all to, in the chat, interact with this as well. I want to see how this goes. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to share a team sheet. And I want you guys to tell me exactly who is going to start against Southampton to the T. And let's see who's right. Well, we're obviously only going to be able to find out if we're right in 2 weeks. But who would you like starting in this 11? Forget the formation. I've just gone onto the website. I'm guessing you guys want a 5 at the back. We'll start with Dave and we'll go down.
Well, obviously, Hugo Lloris goals as much as I don't like it. Eric Dyer at centre-back. Romero at right centre-back. And, well, Lenglet at left centre-back. We'll go with Perisic at left wing-back. Right wing-back. I take back what I said. I agree with Brian. We'll start with Emerson. And then you go into midfield. I'm going to go with 2 in midfield. I will go with...
Who you got on left wing-back?
Perisic. Yeah, we've got to spice things up and get Mr. Perry in there, my man. Then you go into midfield. Oh, this is a toughie. I'm going to say we start with Bentancur and Højbjerg.
So you're going 2 in midfield. I hope this doesn't mess it up. There we go. Look at that. So you're going Bentancur?
Yeah, Bentancur and Højbjerg.
But not Bissouma.
Well, Bissouma hasn't trained with Tottenham yet. He's all he done in pre-season with his fitness work in his hotel room because he had the COVID. So, he's only back to training with us, and he's only got Rangers and that. So I'm not sure whether he'd be up to speed or not. I reckon he might be held back for Chelsea. And then up front, I'm going to go with, obviously, the one and only Big H, best goal scorer in world football. No one can tell me otherwise because you're wrong. And then we go with Sonny on the left. Absolutely brilliant Golden Boot winner last season. Hopefully he'll be going for it again this season. World class. And then on the right.
Oh, this is the big one. Kulusevski or Richarlison?
Richarlison suspended.
Kulu. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Kulusevski or Lucas Moura. That's what I meant.
Kulu.
Oh dear. Right, so there we go. Right, let's see what that looks like. Would you guys be confident going into the game against Southampton with that as the team sheet?
I'd be super confident. I just think there's 2 changes in there.
Come on then, let's hear it.
So I'm going Sessegnon only because we don't know his fitness. Don't get me wrong, if Perisic is 100% fit, Perisic starts. I want Perisic to start, but I think it'll be Sessegnon. And I think Ben Davies is going to start over Lenglet.
He's not available first game of the season.
Oh, is he not available?
No.
Oh, then I scratched that and only 1 change.
Oh, actually, no, sorry. They said he might be fit for first game of the season. They said they prolonged skip until they told us what was wrong with him. So I presume Davies won't be, at the end of the day, I'd be surprised if he plays if he's not in training.
Here we go. Here's the team news.
We'll keep it with that. We'll keep it with that. But the only reason I say Ben Davies is, for me, I am a Ben Davies fan. I'm not like Ariane, who is like, but I was so happy for him at the end of the season. He was sensational. And I think that shirt is for him to lose. I don't think it's right. I mean, obviously, if Conte says, no, listen, Lenglet starts. Again, Lenglet may be better against Chelsea when we need to make sure are spreading the ball. And that's where I see him coming in. I think Ben Davies, I'm one of those that strongly believe if you played well in that shirt, you deserve to keep it until something you slipped it up or something in training has been like, wow, you're sensational. And I think Ben Davies, for the last month of the season, or since Romero went out, Ben Davies was our best defender. He was absolutely immense. So
it's not hard though, Brian. It's not hard.
There you go. Yeah, Romero out. Yeah, it's not hard. But Ben Davies deserves a lot of credit for how he ended the season and actually how he played all last season. We've seen him do it for Wales regularly. We knew that position would suit him. And Conte got Conte got the best out of him that all managers have had. Yeah. So I think Lenglet's going to have to fight for that shirt. If Ben Davies is fit, because David said something I didn't know about with his fitness, then maybe Lenglet does start. Yeah, but that would be the two that I would debate.
I was just going to give the update on that quickly. Conte today said on the team news at the moment, no big problems. All the players are working except for Ben Davies, because he has a little problem with his ankle. I hope for the start of the season, for the first game, he will recover. And then he says Yves Bissouma and Fraser Forster are now coming back into training sessions after illness, and everything is going okay. So there you go.
There you go. So it may be Chelsea. I mean, you look at it. Chelsea is the real test for us, isn't it? I mean, Chelsea. If we can get, if we get 3 points away from Chelsea, or a point and have a very good performance, that's going to send such a confidence booster to the teams. The fans will be ecstatic, and I think the Premier League will stand up and go, Spurs aren't messing around. So does he go full throttle against Southampton, which, no disrespect to them, they beat us last season, but last season we were depleted. We should have enough with the team, that any team that we put out should be able to beat Southampton this season at home.
Yeah, absolutely. And we need revenge on them. We lost 3-2 to them last season. I remember it was pouring with rain. We absolutely bottled it. We were 2-1 up, weren't we? Yep. We lost 3-2. It was an absolute nightmare. Even that Broja scored, who's absolute. Well, honestly, he's not even a good player. But anyway, Bobby K, what would you change for this team, or is this spot on now for you?
Doherty over Emerson.
Doherty over Emerson?
Yeah. Yeah, and Perisic, if he's fit, like I said, starting over Sess.
Do you know what? I agree. I would go Doherty.
That's the only two. I because it's the first game of the season, and I think that we can gamble a little bit. I'll go with Bissouma over Bentancur as well.
Okay.
I have to say, Bobby, the only reason I don't think Doherty will start is because, again, he's come back from a huge injury.
Let's face it, Brian, we didn't even expect the man back yet, though.
Exactly.
So either the injury wasn't as grave as we thought or as bad as we thought, or he's a bionic man that's superstar recovered somehow. So I have a bit of faith in the guy, right?
He played both games in Korea at left wing back.
And not on left. No, don't put him on the left. Put him on the right.
No, but that's where he played in Korea for both games.
Yeah, I know, because I think Conte just wanted to test to see if he really is that bad over there, and he probably realized he is. So let's just keep him on the right.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna mix up the question now because we all seem pretty well, other than a couple of positions, kind of agreeing on that 11. If you were to switch it up, ignore the fact that the players have moved into a random, position. If you wanted to switch it up to a 5-2-1-2 in a game where we play 2 up front and 1 behind, because I can see us playing that more this season, who do you think goes as the number 10, and who goes up front in your preferred layout?
Who's first?
Well, there's only one man that you said you answered the question in your question. There's only one man that can play that number 10, and it is our number 10. If anyone's dropping deep, it's got to be him. Listen, Kane and Son and Kulusevski are sensational at what they do. They cannot drop back and pick a pass like Harry Kane. They cannot dictate the play like Harry Kane. I think if we ever drop one of them back, it's only going to be Harry. I can't see it being anyone else.
Here's a question for you just quickly. Do you think Bentancur could play there?
I was thinking about that.
Is he progressive enough, though?
You go that side.
I'd like to see Bissouma there more than Bentancur.
When Bentancur came here first, before he got his kind of knock, he was playing. He was the one progressing the ball into the likes of Harry Kane. Whether he could do that from a more advanced position is a different story. But I think definitely he could do it from a deeper position. But look, it'd be interesting to see what if he could,
I think it'd be Bissouma there, David, over. Or I would like to see Bissouma there more than Bentancur. I think Bentancur, like you said, what we saw, what he gave us when he first came, was a huge missing piece, wasn't it? It was that transition from defence to attack.
Yeah.
And he does that superbly. I mean, his little pirouettes against West Ham and Brighton as well, they're just football porn at his highest level. And I can't see him doing that in a more advanced role. I think Bissouma maybe has to do it better. I think Bentancur doing it like he was when he came is the best one we have in that position.
Derek, sorry, just getting the chat involved a little bit on this one. Derek saying number 10, Richarlison, Son and Kane up front. Any thoughts on that?
That's what I would do. That would be my preferred.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'd put Son where Richarlison is now. So you'd put, you'd put Harry Kane up here, and then you'd put, sorry, you probably can't see it.
Oh no! Sorry, no, not Richarlison is number 10. Sorry, Richarlison up front.
This is what Derek's saying. This.
Oh no! I'd switch Richarlison and Kane.
Oh, that's thank God. That's what I'm
saying. Yeah. Sorry, yeah. I read it wrong. Sorry, Derek.
So imagine we're fully fit. Everyone's available. Who comes out of Bentancur and Højbjerg? Do you say it's Bissouma and Bentancur?
Yeah.
I really. Go, David. You go.
I was gonna say I don't know. People write off Højbjerg. Under Jose Mourinho, he played 38 out of 38 games. Last season I think he played 36 out of 38 underneath Conte. He's a very fancy player by these managers, so I wouldn't write him off, to be honest with you. And I think, look, I know Bentancur and Bissouma are very physical players, and that is what Højbjerg offers. But Højbjerg bollocks players as well. Even when I've seen us score goals, he's putting his arm around Kulusevski, demanding more out of him straight after a celebration. I think he's in the leadership group at Tottenham Hotspur currently as we speak. So I wouldn't write Højbjerg off yet,
Nitin saying Højbjerg had a bad pre-season, so Bentancur and Bissouma. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, he's woeful. He was woeful in that game against Sevilla. Woeful. No excuses. Like, look, at the end of the day, he'd probably get a chance against Rangers. I expect to see, the midfield being rotated 45 minutes each and look at different partnerships. Skip Bentancur, Højbjerg, Bissouma, whatever it may be. So look, Højbjerg still has time on his side, but like I said to people, I wouldn't write him off yet. He's not in the leadership group for no reason.
Yeah. Okay. So just to clarify, you'd go Højbjerg and Bissouma if available.
No, I really like Bentancur. I really like Bentancur.
Or we have all three. If you want to show me a formation with all three, then be my guest.
See, I've got to say, you're missing a personnel. I really want to see Bentancur and Skip.
Yeah,
that's what we were all waiting for last season. Listen, don't get me wrong, Bissouma is a better player, but we people are forgetting Ollie Skip. Ollie Skip was sensational last season for us, and I said it on David's show. I said it on a lot of shows. The way I kind of gauge a player as well is how much do you miss that player when that player is out? Not just when he's there, you see what he's doing. But if you look at the horrible 3-0 game that I went to, which was my first game of the lane home to Chelsea, Skip was on the bench. When he came on after 3-0, we looked a lot better. The fucking disgusting performance at the Filth was awful. He came on in the second half. We looked a lot more together. He is a big piece of this, and I love him. But I think the others are better than him at the moment. But I think with a Conte pre-season, with the other players around him that can benefit him, I think there's a big season for Skippy as well.
I do want to add to that just quickly. I will be quick because I know I do want to let Bobby Kane. I'm taking his airtime. Look, when it comes to Skip, I mean, look, it's not hard to look like you're going to miss him when Harry Winks is the guy in the midfield. I mean, you're practically playing with a man down. Now, look, that doesn't take away from Skip. He still had a great season, in my opinion. But if we're being honest with ourselves, someone like him should never be a first choice straight away as soon as he comes back from Norwich City on loan at a club like the size of Tottenham Hotspur. He benefited from not having the competition last year in that position. It'd be a different story this year, I think. Look, at the end of the day, the competition will do Skip the world of good. And I'm not knocking Skip. I believe Skip has great ability. I believe he'll go on to great things at Tottenham and probably even captain the team one day. Potentially. But we're back to where we should be, which was having 4 quality midfielders, Bentancur, Højbjerg, Bissouma, and Skip. But I do think that Skip, his career was elevated at Tottenham purely because it's not hard to miss him when Harry Winks is your option.
And also, without going off on a tangent, that loan period at Norwich helped him out massively, didn't it?
Yeah, but that's good by the club to find him a move like that. That helps him. It's very, very good by the club. And look, I do think Skip will have a great season this season, but I'm just not sure he's shoe in.
Okay. Got you. Derek saying, isn't it nice to have choices? I mean, we're arguing over positions.
No kidding. Yeah.
Remember 6 months ago when we were saying, who on earth are we going to play against Wolves? And we ended up dropping Højbjerg and playing
don't talk about the Wolves game. It gives me and David really bad. I mean, it was the greatest thing about it was I actually met David Harris in the flesh. Yeah. It was the first time. that was the highlight of the day because that game, especially the first 45 minutes, was the worst 45 minutes I've ever seen live.
I wanted to head home on walking up the high road with you, Daigle, as soon as you told me Winks was starting. I felt like going home before the game kicked off.
I tell you what, without putting a negative spin on it, you guys were obviously not at the Tottenham Man United game where it was Nuno's last game. That was the
who
worst
do you
game.
think was in the part of the Levy out chance?
That was
hello. I was there. I was the greatest moment of my time in that stadium.
Robsen, thanks for joining, mate. He's saying we still need a big centre-back signing, then it'll be a great window. But if it doesn't happen, is it a good window still? And will it not be fully completed? What do you guys think?
Go on, Bobby.
Go on, Bobby.
Oh, I already addressed that earlier as well. I already said we need to bring in either an upgrade to Dyer or somebody that's going to compete with him or at least be backup to him. We need another center back. There's no doubting that. We have covered pretty much everywhere now across the entire pitch, even a striker after all these years finally. So we definitely 100% need to get somebody in there.
Okay, so who are you bringing in?
Oh, who do I want to bring in or who realistically at this point?
Realistically, who do you think we can bring in?
My first choice was Bremer just because he's a friggin' beast.
He's not available.
I know. That's what I'm saying. He was my first choice.
Right now, if you get to sign one.
Fuck.
There's loads better than Dyer. Loads.
What's going on?
Jay absolutely loves Dyer, so I got to kind of watch how badly I bash him, kind of thing. Right?
We'll hand it over to Dave or Daigle.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, give
Go
me
on,
a minute.
No, Daigle, you can go.
So I think we will be raiding Inter for a player, and I think either player will be Bastoni or Dumfries. And the reason
centre back?
no, as another right back. So, but I can see. Listen, the whole Bastoni deal, all window, I've been praying for Bastoni, and you'll remember Matt Hayes did a show whilst I was still in London where he said we were in the race for Pau Torres all of a sudden.
Mm.
And what I was talking to Danny Kiriakou at the time, and I said, do you know what? For once, I think this is Tottenham Hotspur using Villarreal to say to Inter, get your fucking asses in gear. And we were using a club rather than being the club used all the time. And then Bastoni came out and said his agent, and no, I'm an Inter boy, and he wanted to stay. And then he said it again. I was like, nope, it's not happening. Okay, and you can't fault him. If I actually admire his loyalty. I think if a player's going to come out and say, listen, I'm loyal to this club, fair play. There's nothing you can do as the other club, and I admire that in a player. But then with the Skriniar deal falling through and the Inter chairman getting sued, it's now come to the point where I think Inter have said to Bastoni, right, we're going to keep you as long as we don't get to this stage where deals have fallen through and we need you're our insurance plan. We don't want to sell you. You want to stay. But if we get to the point where we need this money or we're in trouble, we know we're getting the money for you. So I think that deal's back on. And I wouldn't be surprised to see us do it.
Wow.
So I'm putting my Bastoni hat back on that he's going to be a Spurs player. If we get him, then, mate, I think every single Spurs fan is going to be absolutely over the moon, delighted, happy. So I think he's coming in, and it's been spoken about a hell of a lot. We spoke about it on David's show. Everyone's talking about it. It's not the position that Antonio Conte uses all the time, but we need some creativity in midfield. There's one thing, that midfield, if you look at the four, forget Wiggs and all the others, the ones we've just spoken about, they all bring a bit of steel and something else. Whether it be Skip's anticipation, whether it be Bentancur's reading of the game and getting the ball forward, Bissouma and the way he marked out Harry Kane, Højbjerg with what Højbjerg does best. They all may be able to play the odd pass, but like Eriksen, if you wanted the ball on a sixpence in the last minute, none of them you'd say can do it. Like you put your money on it. We need that option. We need that option. So should Conte go to two up top and a creative? So I would love James Maddison. I don't think he'll come, but would love James Maddison. So I think two of the three that I said are what I want to come in: Bastoni, Dumfries, or Maddison.
Okay.
Obviously, Milenkovic-Savic, but that's a pipe dream, and I don't see that happening. So realistically, I've gone for Dumfries, Bastoni, and Maddison. Two of those three, and I'll be over the goddamn moon.
I heard something just quickly on what you're saying there, Brian, this morning about, obviously, we all know that Inter in financial problems, and they offloaded, well, they were meant to get Bremer, weren't they? And then Juventus kind of hijacked the deal. And I know that they're also, they should have got Dybala. He's ended up going to Roma with Jose Mourinho, which is crazy. So Inter Milan, they've clearly not got the pulling power. That says to me they may even offload one or two more players, which is kind of what you're saying there, right? So if it is, Bastoni could genuinely be available. Who knows? It could be a late one, but we can obviously get ourselves very excited. Moving on just very quickly.
Sorry, I just wanted I wanted to go back a second there because I finally have an answer for you after thinking for a half hour about it. Only because Bayern, like because you said realistic, only because Bayern has gone and brought De Ligt in. Upamecano is I think a good possibility. He's tall, he can head the ball as well. He's got some pace, and you're covering your ears.
Guy.
You don't
Not
like
this guy.
You don't want to hear that name.
I don't like that guy. I think he's so overrated. I say it to all, yeah.
What about there's another German kid that I've always kind of liked that's never really talked about, and I don't know why. but Klosterman is his last name. I don't know his first
No,
name.
I like that shout.
I think he's over on Leipzig now, isn't he?
Yeah, that is a good shout. That is a good shout.
I like, for some reason he's almost like a Sonny, where he's a good solid player, but just flies under the radar. Nobody really really raves too highly about him or something. Maybe I'm missing something or something, but I know he's got pace. He's probably strong, and he's played for the national team as well a few times, hasn't he? David, you guys, Brian, James, you guys will know more about that than I would, of course.
I know what you're talking about. There's another guy in Italy that we were linked with before, Milinkovic. You know, he's good in the air. Go and get him. That's what we lack. Yeah. You know, when the balls are coming into the box from set pieces, crosses, we don't have anyone that wants that the heading is their goal scoring, basically, where they love to go and do it. We're always second best. So go and get someone that's very good in the air, like a Milinkovic, like a Skriniar. You know what I mean? You've got the two ball players either side in Lenglet and Romero. So go and get one of them. Look, fucking Bastoni, if you could get him, he'd be brilliant as well. But look, for me, I put out a thing on Twitter today, and the general consensus is that Spurs fans want a centre back and a centre attacking midfielder. Now, look, I still think, even if we don't add any more to what we've got, I still think we've had a good window. But it would be a shame, maybe a missed opportunity to not do that extra 20% and have all the options and give Conte all the options going into the new season. But look, if it came down to one of them, for me, it's got to be a centre-back. I get people are talking about these low-block teams, but at the end of the day, scoring goals has never been a problem. Kane and Son are always going to have an off day, but when that off day comes, can the defence hold out? And they haven't been able to do it. Now, I get we had a good back-end run to the end of the season with that defence keeping clean sheets, but also look at the amount of goals we scored. But the biggest problem from start to the end of the season last season, people are forgetting about the start and the middle of the season, has been that defence. People forget what happens when we went up against Chelsea. That defence fucking crumbled. You think that's not going to happen again if we don't go out there with if we go out there with some of these same players? Of course 100%. It is. And that's what I'm saying. Dyer and Sanchez, they can have good runs in the team. They've always been able to put some decent runs together. But it's the consistency that's the problem. It's when you get to the big games that has been the problem over the last years. We've always failed at the semi-finals or the final hurdle. You know, like against Man City, our defense was woeful. We ended up losing the cup final because we couldn't defend. We've got to get better defenders in here. The only thing that the centre back that has been rotated since Jose Mourinho's time, which may I add, the defense was fucking awful. We can score goals. Kane and Son done it on their own, let alone adding Kulusevski and Richarlison to that mix. They'd done it on their own, but the defense could not keep them out. And guess who was your centre back? Eric fucking Dyer. And this is what I keep saying to people. This is why it needs to be upgraded. When it comes to semi-finals, finals, or big crunch games in the league, that's when it matters most. And these guys have let us down time and time and time again. So for me, it's got to be a centre-back priority over centre-attack and midfield. But I heard we're not even looking at a centre-back, and we are actually looking at a cam. And I don't understand why. I just fear when it comes to crunch, these same people that will cost us, in my opinion.
And Davinson Sanchez as well is one that's always cost us as well. He's looked awful in pre-season again.
I forgot one more player, and thank you very much, Grant Davison, for saying it. I love Ndika.
Oh, okay.
I would take him all day. I'd rather Bastoni. Don't get me wrong, I'm a huge Bastoni fan. But this guy,
how old is he?
Really like the look of it.
21 or 22, I think.
See, this is my only concern, is that if we bring in these young guys and everything like that, like what David was talking, when we're going into these semis and quarters and finals and everything, you want a bit of experience back there. Somebody in the comment brought up De Vrij, who all of a sudden we've stopped talking about, that we were linked with early in the window. I don't think that would be a bad shout to bring in somebody solid along with Perisic as well, that, you know, somebody that, there you go, they brought it up for 15 million. That's so now that David just brought up the point of that we're looking for that cam, really the only realistic one that everybody wants. Now we know, we've heard the rumors with the Zaniolo agent being in there and everything, but I don't want another man made of glass that might give us, 10 to 12 games a season out of 50 that we need him for. I think that marquee big signing might be Maddison then, if we can offload Winks at the same time for anything. maybe a bag of chips or something. But or crisps, as you guys call them. Sorry, but I think if we go out and turn that money out and spend it on Maddison, then to get De Vrij for 15 million would just be, just easy, smart business kind of thing.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I just did a poll I just did the poll in the chat. I said Maddison or Zaniolo. Everyone's comparing the two. For me, it's an easy one. I want to know what you guys think. So far, it's 70% to Maddison. Is anyone on the panel saying Zaniolo over Maddison, or are we all agreed on Maddison?
I'm only Maddison. I think Zaniolo is a better player. He's more exciting, but just because that whole glass factor, and the injuries that he's had, are they going to potentially slow his progress down or hinder his progress, or kind of take away from him making those runs or being willing to go into a tackle kind of thing? Is he going to be a little bit standoffish kind of thing? Whereas Maddison's played in the Premier League. He knows the ruggedness and the toughness that comes with this league, what's expected of it. So he'll be able to take the shots to the body and give them back out as well. He's a little bit of a little shit too. So we seem to be filling our team with these little shits that are going to irritate people. And I'm completely up for that. So for another 20 million more, it's almost 40 million more, right? The word is saying Zaniolo's around 30 and Maddison's around 70.
I mean, I definitely wouldn't buy Zaniolo. If you look at Zaniolo's stats, me and Andre did a video a couple of weeks ago. Zaniolo has literally got like 4 goal contributions in like 40 games. The guy is honestly not that good. I don't know if you disagree, Dave. I know you just...
Look, I think Zaniolo is a good player. Look, he can beat players. He's tricky. But
so is Lo Celso.
I'm not finished, James. I'm not finished. Right? I think he's decent. I think he's a good player, and there's definitely a player in there. Do I think his progress has been hampered by his 2 massive ACL injuries? 100%, and that's why I would stay away. I think Maddison, if I'm looking at what we actually need in that cam role, and someone that fills more of the voids that we have, I think it's Maddison. He's a free kick expert, corner set piece taker. We've got the VO in here. The set piece expert, 4,000 plus routines. Maddison would be a dream for someone like him with the consistency of the delivery. And I think, look, Maddison also adds goals outside the box, which we currently don't have. So if you can't break down teams, the guy has a good strike on him. So for me, I think Maddison probably ticks more boxes than maybe Zaniolo.
The only thing I'll add on to that is, if you look at it, if we had signed a Christian Eriksen, let's just use Christian Eriksen for example, then getting in another cam, it may be worth the way we do business or whatever, taking a risk on Zaniolo for cheaper and getting someone in, because you've got Eriksen there who's going to be the number 1 guy, so he can learn off him. Right now, the guy that we bring in for that cam role is going to be the one and only in that role. So when you bring him in, it's a bit different if you get a Milenkovic-Savic or a well-known star who is world-class, who'll do it anywhere. But when it comes to it, James Maddison comes in and he is Premiership ready. He is Premiership proven. He is, for the sake of money. And listen, Tom, I'm a huge fan. Huge.
That's what I was just pointing at you.
James Ward-Prowse. But I would, right now, I think, as much as I love James Ward-Prowse, Maddison is the better option, because James Ward-Prowse does it from, like we said, like Davey said with Bentancur, he dictates play from deep, with spraying the ball about, long range passing, whatever. And then obviously free kicks, we don't even need to talk about that, what he does. But right now, we need that, like Christian Eriksen, eye for a needle, can take on a player, as a shot. I mean, James Ward-Prowse has a shot at him, but I think signing James Ward-Prowse is just adding another one into that stable of the 4 midfielders we've got.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not one of those he's a creative, like a quarterback. And we don't need a quarterback. We need someone in between the lines that could just cause havoc. I love James Ward-Prowse. I love him.
I agree. And James Ward-Prowse is more of a, like you're spot on, Brian. He's more of a number 4 or a number 6, whereas we need a number 10 right now at the moment. We haven't got a number 10 in the club, so not a natural one anyway. But there you go. We'll do a couple more comparisons. Obviously, everyone's just talked about Zaniolo and Maddison, and there's a lot of love for Zaniolo in the chat. So maybe people rate him more highly than I thought. But certainly, one more I wanted to discuss, obviously, is again, it's a huge shout. We talked about it before. It's a lot of money. Do you guys rate Milinkovic-Savic? And I know he's like 60 to 70 million, but if you're going to do another statement signing, would that be one?
Yeah, of course. He's an absolute, he's a specimen. He can do it all. He's an absolute animal in the midfield. You put him in there, you can guarantee the people that are asked to play midfield in the opposition are probably begging their manager beforehand, please give me a day off today. They do not want it. You're already
maybe they'll get a note from their mother saying, can we miss PE today?
Yeah,
they forgot their killed.
Exactly. Like, look, the opposition will not want it. You know, with players like that coming in here, you're already, in a sense, kind of making the other team feel beaten before they even arrive, you know?
Yeah, what a player. What a player. So if I handed you guys, because at the end of the day, we've still got to sell Reguilon, we've still got to sell Ndombele, we've still got to sell Lo Celso, maybe, definitely Winks. So that's 4 we got to sell, right? If we got 4 to sell, I make out that we should get at least 60, 70 million for all 4 of them. Then if you say you don't think you get 60 million for them?
No, who's buying Ndombele?
Would you not think we can get at least 20 million out of him?
We're not selling Ndombele. I'm telling people now, anyone that puts cash in for this guy is being suckered. We have to remember, we spent big money on this guy. We spent big wages. We even had Jose Mourinho running around the fucking apartment block with the guy to try and get him fit. He's failed under Pochettino, under Jose Mourinho, under Antonio Conte, and under Nuno. And even under Mason. Now, he went on loan to Lyon last season, back to where he came from. He still didn't pick up his form. He was absolutely anonymous. Now, with the recession, with the lockdown we're after going through, and so many clubs coming out the other side, barely scraping by, they're going to be a lot more frugal with their money. They ain't going to come in and gamble on Ndombele. It's a gamble. They're not going to do it. If anything, we'd be lucky to loan him, and we'll still have to shell him out half his wages. But we are not selling Ndombele this window. The Celso you'll sell. You probably sell him for about 20 million. Winks, look, bit of a debate on my channel the other day, but I actually agree with Jack. I think, look, you'll struggle to get 20. I think more about 10, 15 might be fair for him. Reguilon, probably get another 20 million. If even, he could even end up joining Barcelona on loan, because we offered him to Barcelona on loan, apparently. So, for me, look, we're not selling Ndombele for sure. No club.
Yeah, and like you said, Reguilon might be a loan, and even Lo Celso might be a loan. Because I'm not sure surely Villarreal would have bought him by now if they wanted him, right?
They don't have the money.
Exactly. So who else wants him? That's the question.
Lo Celso, I think, is just it's being Paratici's project as the player swap deal. This is what Paratici does best, and he wants to go back to Spain. So I think that guy is being used by us, and Paratici, and fair play to him. Listen, you want out, we want you out, but we can use you because a lot of teams in Spain want you. So I'm going to do some shopping and do some scouting to see who I can use. Could be Pau Torres. If Bastoni doesn't happen, it could be a last-minute push through for Pau Torres. Who knows? But just to let you know, Spurs tweeted in 22 minutes ago. I don't even know how he's done this because he hardly played for Met. But Pape Matar Sarr has just won Young African Player of the Year.
What? No way.
I don't know how he's done that because he plays about God knows how many games, but he has been confirmed as African Young Player of the Year.
He barely even starts for his nation as well.
Exactly. But that's I don't know that if that's the decline in African football at the moment, or they've got no youngsters coming through, but we've won a trophy.
Oh, no.
Start as you mean to go on. Start the season as you mean to go on, David.
That is honestly incredible. Well, I thought you were joking. I've just had a look.
What a random thing for me to come out with. How would I know that it was the African Players of the Year's awards?
I mean, it would be a weird wind-up. At the end of the day, I'm almost still not believing the tweet, even though I've seen it, because he's not that good. Like, who else have they got? They must have no one. But there we go. Maybe it's a popularity contest.
Maybe. Could be that. It could be all Spurs fans voting.
Another talking point. Actually, we'll go with Tom's first, and then we'll go on to the other one from Ulster. Harvey Barnes, guys. Yes or no? Or do we even need him?
I'm going to give 10 fingers. If I can put my feet up, I'll give you 10 toes as well. I love this kid. I think I mentioned it on your stream, David, that if we didn't go for Maddison, I'd love to take him. I'd love him at Tottenham. He's got the hard work, the dedication, the skill, the pace, the power. I would love fitting him in right now. He might need. Could he convert to a cam? Maybe. Is his best position on the wing? Yes. Yeah. But I think Conte with Harvey Barnes, I would love to see him at Tottenham Hotspur.
Love it. What do you guys agree, Bobby K?
A great player, but what are we looking at in terms of number? What's his value? Anybody?
He's a young player.
He's like what, 21, 22? He's a young kid.
Yeah, a lot
about
of money.
30 million.
Yeah, no, for me. Only strictly because not of the quality of the player, only strictly because I don't see where he fits in, and I think that's 30 million we could invest elsewhere. That's the only reason. Other than that, great player, great potential, English, homegrown, checks all the boxes. I just think we have other needs that need to be addressed before we go and get another winger.
Did you guys watch Wearetottenhamtv TV's update yesterday? Leicester are in trouble. And when I say
apparently financially,
I don't mean financially. They're backed by a very rich club. But this is the first time, weirdly, that they haven't been in Europe for ages. They have got loads, and I mean loads, of players entering the final year of their contract. They haven't bought anyone yet because obviously not being in Europe and European money, they've got to watch what they're doing. Leicester, people are saying like obviously Leicester are in a bit of trouble. I don't see them getting relegated. Yeah, the financial fair play, and with that, Leicester could have to get rid of a couple of the big players.
And there's also that thing with Madison and Brendan Rodgers don't get on, right?
Yeah, apparently so. But I think it's Schmeichel, Soyuncu, and about 4 other players, big players for them, are entering the final year of their contract.
Let's go get one of their friggin'. They got what, 22 right backs and right wing backs there? Let's go grab one of them. Ricardo Pereira.
He would be unreal.
What a great addition that guy would be.
Castagna, Justin, there's loads
Justin,
of
there you go, homegrown as well, yeah. But I think Pereira will be significantly cheaper if he's going into his last year. Shit.
What I will say about Pereira, though, he has been sort of missing the last 2 seasons. I think he's carried a lot of injuries. But look, no doubt you could get him back to his best, especially with Conte's training regime. With Harvey Barnes, I mean, he had a very good season last season. The 11 goals and 14 assists across 47 games across all competitions. And people are going to say, oh, most of them in the Conference League, he only got 2 goals, 2 assists in the Conference League. He definitely has the end product there, but he's a bit like Zaniolo. Prefers to come off the wing and unleash one, and it's not what we're looking for at Tottenham. We've got loads of players that can do that. I've seen Lucas Moura do it last season. Son can do it. Richarlison can do it. Kulusevski can do it. We've too many players like that. We need an actual cam, someone that can sit in between the midfield and the opposition backline and get into them tight spaces, get on the ball and get turned, pick up little balls in the pockets. That's what you're looking for, someone specialized in that position. Because we've had players.
Do you not think he can convert? Do you not think Wenger? What's the same Wenger for?
Whoa, bro!
First I almost get James banned, and now you're saying shit like that.
I was going to say it because Wenger had the skill, like with Henry turning him from a winger to a forward. Wenger was very good at converting players from one position to another. But do you not think Conte could do that with Harvey Barnes?
Oh, I think he could, but I'll be honest with you, Brian. I don't think he's here to do that this season. That's true. What he wants is someone that he can put in there that knows the position by the back of his hand. With Harvey Barnes, you're going to have to drop in and out of there in games and develop him over the course of the season. And that's the thing is, we had players that could have done that last season. Son, Richard, Kulusevski, Lucas Moura, you could have asked them to step in there and try and convert them. For me, I do think he can play there, but it doesn't make sense. For me, if you're going to do it, go and spend the money on Madison, who already plays there.
Yeah, I agree. For me, out of anyone at Leicester, Madison has got to be the one. It's what we need.
I do like Barnes. I'm with Brian. I really do like Barnes.
Oh, I think everybody likes him, but like I said, David, it's not about liking him and stuff. It's what our team needs right now. And for the money that we're spending, when we still look at the fact that we've barely scraped the 150 million that was put towards us, and we still haven't got our outgoings out. So I liked actually somebody else put something around another comment there regarding about ACL once jogging for a bus or something.
Yeah. Nick saying he had an ACL.
Nick, I just wanted to give you some inside information here. Being a bus driver, when we see people running for the bus, we gas it, baby. So hopefully you can run really fast. I'm
You're
just
one
kidding,
of those
buddy.
guys that makes me wait another half an hour for one back in the day.
I'll tell you right now, James, in all seriousness, I'll wait for you if I see you make the effort. If I see you wave at me like a taxi and start walking towards me, I'm gone. See ya. There's people waiting at the next stop that want me.
You know what? We've spoken about 2 Leicester players in Barnes and Maddison. There's another one that I'd love. And I can't remember if he plays on the wing or if he does play more central. And he had one great season last season. Was at Dewsbury Hall.
Okay.
Oh, he's more of a deeper midfielder again, similar to what we have.
Okay. He's another one that's going to come through.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic prospect.
I like him.
Dave, I know you've got to go, mate. We will be ending up fairly soon, but I'll let you go. Thanks so much for joining, mate, at such short notice. I'm sure the guys in the chat really, really loved the classic Dave rants, which were good. We'll have to clip some of them up, mate. But just for the 80 people watching, if there is any that aren't subbed, I'm sure most of them are. Where can we find you, mate?
Yeah, look, I do apologize, but look, I've got a warm chicken pie with steam coming off it, looking at me with chips, my favorite side dish. So, I mean, I have to have it while it's warm. But look, you can find me over at the Irish Hotspur, but, you know, get over to the Three Spurs boys, you know, and smash the subscribe there. And also, THFC Till I Die, Ellie and Dermot, if you can get over there as well and smash that subscribe button, of course, on here as well, and Tottenham on tour. So, you know, before you even get to the Irish Hotspur, make sure you do it on them 4 channels. Thanks for having me, boys. It's been a pleasure.
Always good to see you, David. Always good to see you. Have a great night.
I'll call you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Enjoy your pie, mate.
Enjoy. Have a great night. Bye.
See you later, mate.
Bye.
See you later.
Gotta love that guy. Gotta love him.
What a guy. Guys, go.
Bobby, you've been promoted. Bobby, you've been promoted to the top tier.
Whoa! Oh, after my earlier blunder, I'm surprised I'm still even in the show.
I'll tell you what, how about you both top tier? There you go. That makes
mate. No, you can
Canadian takeover. Can I wave a Canadian flag? Am I allowed to do that, Alex?
I'm not sure about that. Anyway, listen.
I got to find out what the hell I'm allowed to do and not do.
You can wave a Canadian flag. You just can't. You can't play music if it gets heard big time, and anyone copyrights it. You won't get a copyright for what you did because you cut it off short. A Canadian flag you're fine with.
No, I think when we meet this Saturday and have our cookies together in the park, buddy, I'm gonna have to get a breakdown of all the rules. You've held my hand and taught me pretty much everything except for how to control my stupid habits. So gotta just get that under control. But yeah, we're good here, James. So if you want to keep rocking, man, Brian, you're good, right?
Cool.
I'm perfect, mate.
Yeah, cool. Man, I got a good another half hour because I got Christian's football later, but we still got time, man.
Love it.
This is my time. This is my downtime. I locked the door. Kids are upstairs. We're good to go.
Listen, we'll bring up another talking point and see what happens. So we're obviously talking about number 10s. We were talking about potentially centre backs. Looking further forward than just this window, what do you guys think could be the one that's the crack in terms of the next needed position this season? Could it be that centre back, like we were saying, that maybe isn't so necessary now, but maybe when we realise Dyer and Sanchez are still not cutting the mustard to the top level? Do you think it could be potentially, you know, when Lucas Moura moves on, we need another right winger? Talk to me about where you think could be the next positions we need in January and the next windows.
So what you got to remember with this, James, as well, and this is why this season the transfer window is mucked up for one corrupt reason and one corrupt reason only, is the World Cup. Because you can start thinking about players right now for January. If they go to the World Cup and have a fantastic World Cup,
they're going to be talked about.
That's 20, 30, 40 minutes, depending on how far and whatever, on their price tag.
It's very true. Very good point.
So this is why it's so important, this window, not only that, big up Cole, brother, not only that we get the players in, but we get the quantity in and the right players. Now, some of them, let's say we don't get, let's just say we don't get Maddison this window, but we try to get him in January. Let's just say he goes to the World Cup. and is England's star player, his value skyrockets. So I think this January, coming into that window for the World Cup, I think we're only doing it. We're only invested on two reasons. One, if we are genuinely within the title race when January opens, and two, if we have any injuries. Because if anyone has a great World Cup and they're Sky, I think Spurs will wait till the end of the season to see if they continue that and see if their price stays the same or goes back to what is. So I could see. Listen, I think the only centre back we're bringing in, if we do, is Bastoni. I think it's like set in stone that if he comes. Do you remember we got Reguilon? And apparently we weren't going for a left back. We weren't going for a left back, but only if Reguilon became available. He became available. That's what I see with the defence right now. I think Spurs are holding tight for any Bastoni developments.
Okay.
If that doesn't happen in January, we may revisit it then. Not for Bastoni, but we may see, like you said, Dyer Sanchez may be the weak link, and it's like, right, we're in that race. We need to tighten up. I think it's still going to be the defence. It's still going to be centre back and Cam. If we don't address them this window.
Got it. I think it's a top answer, especially with what you said about the World Cup. Makes complete sense, especially as if a player we link with Bastoni has a World Cup. Oh wait, he hasn't because Italy aren't in it. But imagine a player like that has a great World Cup. Imagine a player like that has a great World Cup, and then their price tag goes up 20-30 million. You potentially got to battle out in the summer, haven't you, with big clubs? So I think it's a good answer. But I do think the defense is the one that will have cracks, if anything. Bobby K, what do you think on this one?
I'm finding myself in an awkward, weird position today, disagreeing and being on the opposite side of the fence as my dear friend Brian Daigle here. Normally, I'm pretty much on the same side and always agreeing with his points. I also think that potentially the opposite could happen, that we could have players go to the World Cup, and because of what Nitton's even just put up here, the heat that they're going to be dealing with, the time changes and everything, the environment that they're going to be into, the time of the year that this thing's happening. There's so many factors that I can see players not performing as well as they traditionally might in a regular World Cup year, where they do it in their off season kind of thing, which possibly could work in our favor then. Because if we have, hypothetically, a Madison go to the World Cup and have a shit World Cup, then does he come back going from 75 million to 50? And, Derek, he's going to have an awful one. Absolutely awful. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to miss Italy in the World Cup because in Toronto, as Brian knows, there is a very, very large Italian fan base. And they get wicked wild, man. The flags are out everywhere. The celebrations, Little Italy is just packed. It's hopping. People are in the streets. It's like Carnival, man. I'm
forgiving Italy. I'm forgiving Italy for the Euros. I'm sorry. If there is
I meant their fans. Screw the team. I'm going to miss their fans.
The fans were unbearable as well. Like the whole.
Oh yeah, you guys were there. Yeah.
Honestly, it got to me like mentally for a good few months. So.
Yeah, the second World Cup they're not going to though. I was talking to Iggy, and Iggy was like, the last time my kid was at a World Cup, he was like, I think he was 10. He said the next World Cup he's going to be like 18 years old. And obviously, Bobby, you'll understand being from Canada, where it's very rare for you to go to the World Cup. Like this year is massive. But for me and James, the only World Cup England haven't been to that I've been alive for is the one in America in '94. That's the only.
There you go.
That's the only one. So growing up as a kid in England and not having your country at the World Cup is unbearable for one. Yeah. But two, it's ridiculous.
Especially when they're expected to be there. Yeah, especially when they're expected to be there, right? So I like what Michael's comment here. Valid points by both Canadians, but he's still English, man. You got both passports. You're good.
I'm gonna go like this. Whoosh. There is the power to Brian and Bobby. Let's bring up another talking point. We talked about transfers. We've talked about the transfers we've already signed. We've talked about the formation we're starting with. No, I want to hear it. I know Brian's got good ideas.
I'll give you one. I've spoken about this on a few streams, not recently. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. I actually think, and David touched on it, the set piece coach coming in is one of our biggest signings of the season. And I'm talking, you name all the players as well. Because if you look at it, last season, Harry Kane on free kicks, we know what we were like attacking wise. Defensively, we were a shambles. This guy comes in, like David said, he has 4,800 and something different set piece routines.
Whoa.
And obviously, 4,800. And he comes in and he says, listen, I have all these playbooks. They don't all work for the team I go to. But what I can do is I can kind of mold them to fit the players or style of play, whatever. And there's a team he was managing that he took over. I don't know if it was this January or a few Januaries ago. He took over a team, or he worked for a team that were in a relegation struggle. And from January to the end of the season, 18% of their goals came from set pieces, and they stayed up.
I saw this stat, yeah.
That's the impact. And you look at what we did last season, before you add the strength in depth we've added, and then you bring in a set piece guru, that could have huge, huge implications for us.
Yeah, you're spot
especially
on.
in the Champions League.
Was it Caligari or Spal, one of the Italian teams, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's being a coach at Fiorentina, AC Milan, Fiorentina, Brentford, Leeds, Caligari, Palermo. He's got a lot of experience. He's been doing it for like 15 years. So yeah, I agree. And don't forget, we've not been scoring many goals from a corner. Every time we get a corner, I'm like, well, we're not going to score. Maybe now Dyer gets on the end of them. Maybe now Longley, who's good in the air, will get on them. That is a very, very good point. What's the question? Are you trying to say? Do we agree?
I'm saying, like, what do you guys think? I'm going right out there and saying this could be one of these signings of the summer. Forget what you're big up, David. Not just, you got to remember what we're doing now is, don't get me wrong, we're adding strength in depth on the pitch, but not one of them are set piece specialists out of the ones we've signed. Not one of them. It's something we need to address, which is why Maddison is becoming key when we're talking James Ward-Prowse. But when you say to this team, right, you haven't got a set piece taker, you can't strike a ball but what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a book or I'm going to instruct you. I've got 4,800 different routines.
Isn't it?
That's really, you know what I mean? It's going to be like every team, like people remember a long time ago, we had the Teddy Sheringham, Darren Anderson corner. Where Anderson would whip it in and Sheringham would come in and volley it in. And not every team knew it was coming, but they didn't know how to stop it. And that was just one set piece that worked time after time after time. When it comes to a set piece, they're going to see Spurs saying, oh, they've done this the last few games. And then the next minute, they're prepared for something, and they won't even know what hit them.
Definitely.
I think it's one of the best bits of business in the Premier League this summer. I'm being serious.
I agree. And also this from Stuart, Brian.
Exactly.
He's saying defensively as well, he's going to help,
Correct.
Of course.
Correct. I think it's absolutely unbelievable. I mean, I can't wait to see how many goals we score from set pieces before the World Cup, before we break for the World Cup, to see the impact this is going to have.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not sure. Bobby K, do you have an opinion on this? Do you agree with what Brian's saying?
Well, actually, one thing Brian told me about this, and he left it out of the conversation, surprisingly, which I thought was the most impressive thing about this set piece man coming in, is the way he does the plays and everything. Is almost like an NFL playbook where it's like Razor 42, Eagle 26 or something, and then you have the shift in formation. Players now, all of a sudden, the guys that you saw take a free kick at the very last free kick, all over here and this and that, and now those players all of a sudden move and shift and everything, and there's a formation shift and there's a pattern switch and everything. I think that, to me, when Brian told me that was the most exciting part of it to me, because that's the one thing about American football I've always appreciated, the way the tactics are so heavily involved in the outcome of the game. That game is more important tactically than skillfully at this point, as far as I'm concerned. A coach makes the difference in the NFL. And this guy coming in is going to make the difference between us not conceding set pieces and actually getting goals on set pieces. So if we can get 10, 15, how many goals did we score last year, guys, roughly? Do you know? I have
Oh, I would say at least 60 or 70. Let me check.
Okay, let's say 70. It's not important. Let's just say 70, right? If we can increase that 70 goals by 18%, that's a major difference in how we get past those teams that we drew and we lost 1-0.
The low block teams.
And the low
look at that,
teams.
69. I was nearly spot
69.
on.
Hey, there you go. Not a bad one. Not a bad. See, this is why I come to you guys. You know what you're talking about. So I think that's going to be a great thing. For me right now, I'm just giddy, boys. You know, I feel like a kid before Christmas. I just want to get this season started. I'm ready to roll. I'm just so happy with the way we finished off the season, that we held on and got into fourth with the squad we had, with what our expectations are. Let's face it, most of us wrote this last season off by February. We said we're not getting that. We'll be lucky to finish in a Europa League spot, you know, and to finish up their fourth, and now to bring in quality, now to bring in players that Conte wants, bring in that guy that's just the Marine, the guy that's just drilling the shit out of these guys and making them work till they puke. I think that Conte has elevated everything for Tottenham. Everything. The board, the players, fitness, morale, tactics. There's nothing that the man hasn't done to improve our club other than go out there and start flogging Lady Gaga tickets, you know, on the street like those scalpers. That's how much of an impact this guy has had, and Paratici. So I'm very excited to get the new season started. I guess, how many people you got in your chat still right now? Because it doesn't.
There's about 75 across all.
75. So I know you want to wrap up soon. So should we just ask everybody in the chat a question and let's see what they want?
Go on then. I had one. That.
Okay, I'll ask my simple one, and then I know yours is going to be much better than mine, of course. But I just want to know one player. Everybody has this rumor that we're going to get that marquee signing still. That there's something's coming. Something's coming. We've got a whole bunch of little Christmas presents that we've opened. We've opened all the little ones, but that big fucking box is still sitting there in the corner peeking at us, saying, "Come and unwrap me." So I'm curious to know who you would want that to be. Realistic, within budget, and somebody that's going to fit our squad. And I will ask you first, James.
Oh, for me, it's an easy one. What we need now is a left centre-back still. I'm still not convinced Lenglet is our starting left centre-back. And also, this player can also play centre-back. I think you guys know what I'm going to say is Bastoni. For me, if we got him, I would honestly get as excited to say we're title challengers. And
but do you think it's realistic? Because the only person that hasn't said that he's not coming is the club themselves. And it might be based on Brian's previous point that they might have to say to turn around and say to him that, look, we have no choice.
If we can get over the line.
If you love this club this much, this is going is what's going to help us.
Inter have said 60 million when it was going through.
Yeah.
It's the owners that have not come out and said anything. The owners haven't said, we're going to sell him, he's staying. Inter have said, right, we need 60 million if it's 60 or whatever the price was. They've said something.
Mm-hmm.
The agent and the player had said something, but then Bastoni came out and said, listen, I'm an Inter boy. This is my club. I can't do it.
Yeah, but players say that all the time to get a new deal or a new club.
Yeah, well, no, but this is the thing. If you look into this, and again with Iggy, a lot of this was said, obviously, you got to remember the ultras in Italy are fucking hardcore.
Oh, yeah.
Are absolutely cutthroat. They will. So a lot of this was said, obviously, the ultras were putting heat for him not to go. He didn't want to turn his back on Inter and said, right, listen, you're in the shit, I'm leaving you. So, and like I said at the beginning, he wants to stay at Inter, and I admire that loyalty. There's no loyalty in football anymore. We see people like Ledley King, and you go back to Tony Adams at Arsenal or John Terry, as much as we hate those two, they were Matt Letizia, loyal to their club.
Mm.
This guy, that he is so. They gave me my chance. I'm an Inter boy. I love them. I don't want to go. So that's what the ultras want to hear. The club may not want to hear it, but now if he does have to go, it's going to be okay. Listen, we have no option. He doesn't look like right. I'm ready to go. I'm jumping ship. But you're right. He could be. I don't think he's doing it for a new contract.
No.
I think he genuinely wanted to stay, but knows that if deals fall through, they may have no option.
But if the fans understand that they've got to sell a player to help the club rather than just a player, surely they're going to have to understand that one of their key assets in Lautaro, Martinez, Bastoni, or maybe even Barella have to move on. And that's a fact. They've already sold so many of their players already, and they've already missed out on so many because they haven't got the finances. So if it gets to that situation, I wouldn't be surprised if the talks really ramp up again.
Yeah, I think this one might drag on to deadline day.
I do,
but
agree.
I don't care if we have to wait till deadline day to get him.
I'm all for it.
And we actually get him, not a Daniel Levy. Let's haggle about on the last day. And if someone told me now we're getting Bastoni, but you have to wait till last day of the season, I'm like, or last day of the window. Sorry, I'm like, all day long.
Yeah,
take it away, boys. That's how vital I think he is.
Agreed. Let's see what the chat said on that question, because Bobby K drew in all the comments from the watchers there. He absolutely loved it. He caught like 20 comments at once.
Brilliant. I like it. Good. That's nice that you guys have got involved. Thanks for answering, guys. Appreciate that.
Yeah, appreciate it. Ulster's saying Bastoni. Carl's saying Bastoni or Skriniar. Kev G's gone Madison. Adrian's gone Bastoni. Otuditi says nobody. Our window is done. Only outgoings now. Fair enough.
Okay. It's interesting.
Ellie's gone Bastoni. Michael's gone Bastoni. Madison for Caden. Bastoni for GRL. If Conte signs.
Oh, Graham, I've got to call you. I'm going to call you straight after this.
Sorry, Graham.
Good reminder.
There you go. That's what we're here for. Adrian saying Juventus got Broman. PSG haven't even moved for Skriniar, so Inter are in trouble. Bastoni deal may still be possible. Zach saying Bastoni or Madison.
Pick one, Zach. Only one.
Zielinski for Nitin. Bastoni for Tom. Bastoni. You can only pick one, Stuart.
Let's do it.
David's saying, do you realise Gerrard didn't go to Chelsea because he got threats? Yes, yep. I do know that. Personally, I think a centre back is more important, says Derek. And supposedly, says Grant, Inter have also taken Skriniar off the market now.
What is going on with that, though? I thought the deal was agreed and everything or something, and then there was some issue that they didn't want to do it in installments or something. They want the money up front or something, and now it's completely done. Is that what it's at? Yeah, really?
Inter have to raise £60 million.
Yeah,
or
There's something about their
so
financial
if someone says
thing.
we're going to pay you in installments over the years,
yeah, right.
That don't help them.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay.
Carl is so confident saying he thinks we're going to get Madison by next week. If you get that right, Carl, bang on. That's going to be
ITK Carl.
Yeah, ITK Carl. My last comment, my last question, and we will genuinely wrap things up in the next 5 minutes, guys. My comment to you is, my question to you and everyone else in the chat, at this current stage of the window, in the current stage that all the other clubs are at, in what you've seen from pre-season, you know what question's coming. What are we realistically going to achieve this season? Is it top 4? Is it a trophy? I'm going to start with Bobby K because he put me on the spot earlier, and then we're going over to Brian.
Thanks. Yeah, that's it. Tip for tat, eh? Tip for tat.
Yeah.
Respect your elders, James. I realistically, I don't see why third isn't achievable. I think even second is a possibility. But I'm going to stick solid to third at least. I really, really think that we're going to bring... I'm going to go with the Carabao Cup over the FA Cup just because I think that teams, especially the heavyweights, tend to play their maybe a weaker team in there kind of thing. That gives us a chance to kind of put our B team, which looks solid as well now, to give us that competition. So I'm going to go with that. We're going to win the quad. Okay, forget it. I go with what Andre says. I like Andre. Yeah, quad. Third in the Carabao Cup for me. Yeah, there you go. There's your inner Kuva. That's it. That's what Kuva's saying, man. I think he's put a bet on the quad, has he not?
I was still saying the same. Cod says Carl. Brian, what are you saying?
I'm saying the same as Bobby. Third in the FA Cup.
Yeah,
Third in the FA Cup.
You want the FA? I wouldn't care about.
No, I want the FA Cup. Listen, I'll take any cup. I will take any goddamn cup. Yeah. But the FA Cup is very, very special to me. And Conte's won it before. So he's going to win it again. I'm going third. But when I say third, I think we'll be third and closer to second than we are third and closer to fourth.
Really? You think we'll be close to Man City and Liverpool? I'm presuming you're going as the top two.
Yep, I agree with that.
And what about Champions League?
From both of them. We took points from both the big boys.
What about Champions League? How far are we getting?
Brian?
Group stage, knockout.
So for me, I've got two versions of this, so I'll give you both. So the most important thing for me is we get top four again and get back into the Champions League. We've got to make sure we do like Poch and keep repeating it, not just a one-off.
Yeah.
So I either see it as getting to the knockout stage and getting knocked out, which fair play, back in the Champions League, whatever. Again, that depends on how we build by in January. And the other thing is we finish third, but then go on and win the Europa League. And we will win the Europa League and hopefully beat Arsenal in the final. But the thing is, you got to remember as well, when it comes to the Champions League, and I think this is the bit people are forgetting again, because of this corrupt World Cup, where the Champions League qualifying games normally end first week of December, the group stages are done by the first week of November.
It's crazy, isn't it?
So there are a hell of a lot of games that we've got. We know we've got 9 in October.
It's mad.
So that, I think, is going to play a factor in it as well. So I'm going, like I said, we'll get to the last 16 and we get knocked out, or we'll drop into the Europa League and win it. But the most important thing for me is we get that top four, which we will, and stay in there so the money keeps coming in and we, please God, carry on the manner that we have this summer.
So you think top four is more important than a trophy this season?
No, I want to try. If you said to me top four or a trophy for me. But the importance for the club financially is to get back into the top four. There's no doubt about it. But for me as a supporter, I want to see Tottenham Hotspur. Listen, when I get older and get to, please God, talk to my kids, or when I please God have them, or my nephews and my niece, I want to be able to talk to them about the 2022 FA Cup winning team. Not go back in the day in 2022 when we got fourth and did nothing with it. You remember winners of trophies. You don't remember who came in the top four every year. So for me as a fan, winning a trophy is more important. But for the club, obviously, it's Champions League.
Got you. Interesting. I think the general consensus is third and a trophy, which would be unbelievable. We'd all be absolutely buzzing. I think that's fair to say. Guys, that tops off the stream.
No, it doesn't. You didn't let me answer the Champions League question.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, and secondly, how many do we got in the chat?
Still about 70.
How many likes?
I just looked about 60, so that's
okay, guys. So I refuse to answer the question until you hit the like button. I'll give you 10 seconds.
don't make them all off.
Okay. No, with the Champions League, because Brian gave 2 answers, I'm going to do it the easy way. And I'm going to steal 1. I would prefer, only because of Conte's lack of success in European football, I would prefer what Brian said, that we actually finish third, drop to Europa, and win the fucking thing.
Wow.
But actually win it. Don't drop down and then not go and get the job done.
Put it this way, one question I'll ask the people in the chat. This is just one quick question.
Go on.
Would you right now, if I said to you, we're in the Champions League right now, but you have no idea where we're going to go or how far we're going to go, or I can tell you now, we win the Europa League, would you roll the dice for the Champions League? Or would you say, do you know what? If you're guaranteeing, like I can see it's the future and Tottenham Hotspur win the Europa League, you'd rather go for, yep, that's a trophy and we're back in the Champions League that way anyway? Or would you roll the dice for the Champions League?
What, not guarantee win it?
You've got no idea where we're going to go.
Let's say make the final. Would you rather make the
No,
final?
no,
of the
no, no,
Champions-
no, no, no.
Lose
No,
the-
you can't do
not
that.
even?
That's the whole point. The whole point is
Okay,
you don't know what you're going to
You don't
get.
know where you're going to end up at all.
I think
for me,
I think Europa League
100%,
for me.
100%, 100%.
That's the thing. What I would do if I could be
100%.
guaranteed we win the Europa League, but have no idea whatsoever what we're doing. I would take
That
the Europa
gets you
League.
into Champions League for the following year, anyways, right? So
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Yes.
A couple of people saying they'd roll the dice for the Champions League, though. It's a good question. It's a really good question.
Very good.
Very
Yeah.
good. I almost want to do another stream now about what like different scenarios. So, like, would you scrap top 4 for a trophy and all those kind of things? It's definitely a video we'll do separately.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow around the same time. Yeah? I'll try not to do anything stupid next time.
Yeah,
I'll try. I can't promise.
Yeah, listen. Win a trophy 2022-23. Roll the dice for the Champions League. Honestly,
Hey,
who we
Luca.
fear. Says Luca. Wow. There you go.
It's not
Champions
about
League.
fear. For me, it's not about fear. It's just the lack of success Conte has had there, whereas everywhere else he is leaps and bounds beyond other people with his success rate. So why not, like almost what Brian is saying, why gamble when we can put our assurances into something? So I want the assurances. I want something to go into that trophy cabinet, other than an Audi Cup or so.
Because you got to remember, you're also saying in the Champions League, if you're rolling the dice, there's the guarantee that you never know if you come fourth in the group and you're out of the group stages.
That's true as well. Yeah.
You have not. Don't get me wrong. We're in pot 2. We should get out of the group stages. But I reckon if someone said to me, right, Europa League is here. Conte, I'll give you the picture. Conte's holding it. I'll tell you the score, who you beat in the final, everything guaranteed. I can see into the future. Or see Champions League. I am going Europa League.
Yeah, no, I think most people would probably agree. But obviously, that's that special thing about the Champions League, the music when you're there. It's such a different vibe. Like, I would pay double to go to a Champions League game than the Europa League game, like, for sure. That's just my opinion, because it has that special feeling when you're there on a Tuesday night rather than a Thursday. Like, I remember going to Tottenham Ghent. We lost at Wembley. It was about 3 or 4 years ago. I don't know if you guys remember. That is the worst Tottenham game I've probably ever been to.
What game, sorry?
Which one was that?
Tottenham Ghent or Genk.
Yeah.
Oh.
Remember it? We lost at home. That Purbe guy scored, and I was like, surely this isn't happening. Do you remember? Right, and then fast forward 2 years, and I was there for Tottenham Real Madrid. I was there for Tottenham Dortmund, where we won. 2 magical nights that I'll never forget. That is the difference.
I was at the Dortmund game at Wembley.
That was incredible.
I was just about to leave for Canada when Real Madrid came into town. But the worst game that I saw was after when we were at Wembley, we got knocked out of the Champions League. We got a Ukrainian team or a team from like Eastern Europe.
Okay.
I can't remember the name of the
when
team.
Was this? How many years? Is this a long time?
No, we're still at Wembley. Okay. So, and literally, Victor Wanyama scored a goal, but we went out on aggregate on away goals. And it was one of the most dreadful performances I've ever seen.
I think that was the one I'm talking about. I think that was Ghent.
I don't think it was Genk.
Was it not?
I don't think so. I think it was an Eastern European team. It weren't Shakhtar, Grant.
Was that Ferrero Rocher one?
No. Let me have a look. See if I can find it. So it would have been the 2000. It was the season before the last season at the Lane. So it would have been 2015-16.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
15-16, 6 years now. Okay.
Spurs, let me have a look. Spurs, Europa.
Was that like?
I haven't got a clue.
Oh, Grant just threw in here. Shakhtar.
No, it's not Shakhtar.
Sorry, why you looked that up? Why don't you bring up David Clark's comment, because that is freaking hilarious. No, it's David Clark.
David Clark's comment.
Yeah, all caps.
I haven't got it yet.
At 4:55.
Is it quite far back?
4:55 p.m.
Oh, I've got it. This?
Nope.
Help me out, man.
The one with the
I got it.
Yes.
Knocked out. Knocked out.
You know, he's referring to Jesus, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
Here we go. It was
Carlson's in.
Dynamo Zagreb.
Oh, that was only a couple of years ago. That was under Mourinho.
Yeah, that wasn't that far.
Yes, it was at Wembley, 2017-18.
No, not Zagreb. No, that was that. What am I thinking of? No, Dynamo Zagreb was
2 years
two
ago,
seasons ago.
Yeah.
With Mourinho.
No, I'm talking at Wembley. So this is going back to the Wembley days.
Okay.
Well, 18 we were still at Wembley because that's when I went to the game there.
Because Tottenham Zagreb, we lost. It was 2021. It was Mourinho. We lost 3-0 at theirs.
Yeah, that was then. I'm talking about back in the Poch days.
Okay. Unbelievable. Anyway, the dark times hopefully are clouding over, and we've got all these nice positive times to talk about. Quickly, guys, before you all jump off, this is the end of the stream. I just want to remind everyone that on Saturday I will be doing a watch along for the Tottenham Rangers game. You guys can join me. Bobby, Brian, it's early. I think it's 3 o'clock, so 10 o'clock your time. So not too early, actually. Tottenham are playing Rangers. Apparently it's for a JD trophy, so we'll probably get mocked if we win that.
Sorry, 3 p.m. your time.
3 p.m. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, working.
But yeah, feel free to join me if anyone wants to join me on the watch along. Hope you guys will want to watch that and tune in. I know a lot of you wanted to see it. Massive thanks to everyone in the chat that's been here over 2 hours and watched. If you could smash a thumbs up on the video and subscribe to help this channel out, that would mean the absolute world. Thank you so much to everyone for their comments. Brian, Bobby, and of course Dave earlier. Massive thanks to you guys. A quick little plug for Bobby K and for Brian. So Bobby K, do you want to take it away? Where can people find your channel?
Nice and simple. It's right there. 3 Spurs boys, all one word. My apologies again, James, for my stupidity earlier. Rookie mistake that I should know better. So, yeah, thanks for having me again, buddy. It's great to see you, man. You're looking sharp off your holiday. You're looking refreshed and everything. You always got that big, beautiful smile for everybody. So keep up the great work, man. You've always got good talking points and everything. You're very knowledgeable. It's nice to see that in a youngster like you. So keep doing what you're doing, guys. Get over here. Make sure you're smashing the like James said, and make sure you're subbing it up and everything. And, yeah, hopefully he'll have Andre and Jack will be back too. And you got some good things cooking with that youngster, man. A bright young man, that kid, man. How old is Jack again?
Yeah. Jack, he's 18, young kiddie, very
just a kid. Good stuff, man.
Very talented guy. But get over to the Free Spurs boys.
Much appreciated.
Free Spurs boys, guys. Nearly butchered that. They're on about 455 subs. Let's try and get them a few. Let's try and get the Spurs relatables over there. And of course, Brian Daigle, thanks so much for coming in at last minute as well, mate. Appreciate it. It's been good to catch up as well. Where can people find you?
It's been an absolute pleasure. But I have to say, the Spurs relatables, I love that.
That's wicked. Yeah,
that is wicked. I have to say, fair play to that.
I still remember when he was asking people for that. That was months ago, and somebody put it in the chat.
Yeah.
And it was a suggestion in the comment.
So if that guy or lady
that
guy or ladies in the chat, fair play to that. That is brilliant. So yeah, you can find me, Danny Kiriakou, Brian.
No, you got to do it properly, please.
Okay, and everybody, it's Danny Kiriakou over at Tottenham on Tour. We've got a lot of new shows and a lot of new content coming out for the new season. So there's going to be a lot more from us. We're stepping up our game. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed to us, please come over and give us a try and give us a subscribe. And most importantly, like I said, big up to James and Bobby, who do great work on their shows. Give them the subscribe before you give us a subscribe.
Yeah, but guys, definitely, really appreciate that, Brian. But definitely get over to these guys. I mean, they're on 4.72k. They're very close to 5k. So let's get them a few more over there.
Let's get all 3 channels to 5k. Come on, people, you can do it overnight.
But listen, guys, it's been 2 hours, 10 minutes of absolute brilliant chat about Tottenham. I'm very, even more hyped for the new season. Like I said, guys, one more time, we will do a watch along on Saturday for the Tottenham Rangers game. It would be great if you can join us. Please smash a like on the video, smash a subscribe on Tottenham on Tour, smash a subscribe on the Free Spurs boys, and of course, Irish Hotspur as well. Appreciate Dave's time. And as always, guys, remember, come on, you Spurs!
Come on, you Spurs!